What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Horror Tuesday on Horror with Nads. I am your host of the channel, Nadia, and today it's going to be a very fun stream. I'm very excited. I've been holding it in to talk about weapons. I've got a full panel joining me, but before we get into it, please do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet, and share out the stream as well. If you are watching this on the replay, please also leave me a comment. Let me know what you are doing. Let me know what you think of weapons, not doing with a weapon. Anyway, on that note, awkwardly, let's bring on everybody. Leon first.
Dear God.
That was awful. What's up, guys? Thank you, Katie, for laughing. For a second, I looked up and Katie's laughing at me. I couldn't.
Nadia, it's your first stream. I get it.
Oh, fuck. Yes, it is. It is. It is my first stream. Thank you, Blue. Thank you. Always a pleasure to have you here. Yes.
No.
My whole thought was, if you're watching this on replay, you've seen weapons, leave me a thought of what you thought of it. Or a comment of what you see. I can't even fuck it. Never mind. Leon, what's going on, man?
Well, I just got out of the theater, so I can't wait for this Freakier Friday review. I'm in for a good time. Let's go.
Yay.
Wait a minute. Did you see Freaky Friday? Freakier?
Yes. I thought that's what we were doing. I saw Freakier Friday too. Isn't that what we're
discussing?
Okay.
We're not discussing.
We could,
yeah.
I don't have slides for Freakier Friday, but we could.
They're playing with you. They're messing with you.
I mean,
I did actually see it today, and it is cute. And I do, if you're a fan of the original, I do recommend it. But for the nostalgia factor alone, but no, it was a bit, yes.
Have you seen War of the Worlds yet?
I don't plan on it.
It is my movie of the year, Leon. No, don't listen to Katie. She hasn't even seen it, so she doesn't even have an opinion.
I heard it's fantastic.
Of the year. It is so
Hard
good.
pass.
Yeah.
No, Sin, you have to watch it.
Look, you can't pull the Velocipaster thing on me, Nadia.
No, I didn't like Velocipaster. I thought this was hilarious. I was
Are you being genuine about War of the Worlds?
Thank you, Leon. I'm being genuine.
I thought you were doing a bit.
No, it is so bad that I was just locked in to it so much.
Yeah.
I've seen it twice now. I'm going to see it a third time.
I can't.
Yeah. I'm looking
weird
forward
because
to it.
I skimmed it on the internet almost like a couple weeks ago, a few weeks ago, just like this looks like trash. And then after that, like everyone's like, this is the worst movie ever. I'm like, it looks bad.
Is really,
so
I will admit, it is the worst movie ever made I've probably seen. But it's so good at the same time. It's so bad.
It comes from you.
It goes so bad that it circles back to being good. I'm telling you.
You guys haven't seen Heart Bleeps or Heart Beeps or any of these other like truly awful movies I've seen.
What about Zombie?
I saw some posts where it's like, name off the worst movie you ever saw, and people are like saying like, I don't know, some Marvel movie or something. And I'm like, dude, you guys don't know anything about the worst movies ever. Unwatchable. Like, not so bad it's good. So bad it makes you want to end your life.
I mean, I literally watched Zombievers for the first time the other day. That was not so bad it's good. It's just bad. Zombievers was not even a fun kind of bad. It just
what was really good, though, was Hundreds of Beavers. That was amazing.
An Amazon drone saves this movie. I'm telling you, this movie is just I will watch it.
It was a giant Amazon commercial. Yeah.
Well, no, so is it the drone or is it the homeless person who saves the movie?
Both. Either way, they're spying on our Amazon cards. Toxic, how are you?
Name?
What's going on?
Good. I'm just also just like Leon, fresh out of the theater. And I do agree. Freakier Friday. Actually, coincidentally, same characters in both of these movies that we're going to discuss, Freakier Friday and Weapons. Same exact. It's crazy. I mean, it's almost like Jamie is twins with a certain character in Weapons. So
I will not take any weapon hate right now. Rachel, how are you?
I mean, I'm great. I did not come fresh from the theater. I saw Freakier Friday on Saturday, so I'm completely with agreement with Leon.
we need to stop doing this because someone's gonna randomly tune in and they're gonna think we really are gonna talk about Freakier Friday. Yeah. They're gonna be like, I was looking for what is this bait and switch?
It's good. I can't keep a straight face for long, so I am doing well. I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Sin, how are you?
I have not seen Freakier Friday. I'm here
Thank
for the
God.
weapons discussion. And I'm ready to talk about it because I have some questions.
Blue, how's it
Yeah.
going?
Awesome. Still fresh from Leon's stream. I still got my look Death's Door. This shit's awesome. Vodka. Can't wait to drink it. But Nadia, I'm whipping this out for you and the ladies, but just don't get jealous. But I told you I do have a very nice beaver. So
Oh,
it's
my
beautiful
gosh.
and
That's
majestic.
If I
Yeah.
showed you
And-
my beaver, YouTube would
Yeah.
cancel me. Like I'd be off
Yeah.
air.
I'm looking. I can stick my entire fist in this beaver too. Like it's great.
No comment.
Your
No
beaver looks a
comment.
bit like a dog, Sin.
I
Yeah.
know, right?
Yeah.
It's alive too. It's not a statue.
We have nutria out here, which is close. They're like giant beaver-sized rats.
You know, we don't have squirrels out here in Vegas.
It's not
They're
that
Squirrels
bad.
everywhere
don't-
out here.
Yeah.
I
they
have
don't
a
exist in
pecan tree in my front yard, so
Nothing
it basically
for
belongs to
some
the squirrels.
Hey,
That
well,
tree.
I do apparently.
We have these quails. We have a ton of
Yeah, we are.
quails.
Yummy.
Ton of quails around. Katie, how are you?
I'm
Welcome.
great.
Welcome,
I would
Katie.
like you to stop saying War of the Worlds is the best movie of the year.
The best movie of the year.
Please
You
stop.
have not
Wait,
seen it.
wait. You said weapons in the live stream I was on earlier.
I mean, listen, Weapons is a great movie. It is my number 2 slot. War of the Worlds is number 1. I don't know what to tell you, folks.
I
Like
can't.
everybody should see it. I mean,
Stop.
it's you know what? Listen. It is. You haven't even seen it yet. You don't even know the goal that I'm.
I don't need to see it to tell you it can't be the best movie of the year. You can't. You just can't. Especially when Andy was explaining it to me and he looked traumatized. So
It's going to
It's
traumatize
probably
you.
not even the best movie with someone with ice in their name because Cool as Ice exists, and that's got Vanilla Ice.
That movie's
I-
great.
You know that
Dude.
movie's the same director photographer for as Schindler's List and the Steven Spielberg guy Janus. He DP'd that movie the same year I think.
Poor
As
bastard.
he did like Schindler's List and some other Steven Spielberg movies like a year after that.
Whoa.
Cool
I've
as
got
Ice.
IMDb up. What?
Enzo, how are you doing?
How?
I'm doing great. Cool of Ice, yeah, that's why that movie looks great. It's filmed amazingly. It looks like a music video. There's a lot of smoke-filled rooms and stuff. Anyway,
Oh, that's the one that was. Okay, I got it.
yeah, shout out to Jamie Lee's huge old lady cans in Freakier Friday.
Oh,
I
yeah.
heard they were on display in that
They-
movie.
Are they
Quite
real?
prominently.
No,
Yeah.
Those are
They're not real, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
they're real. Yeah,
worked
they're
on?
real.
no.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
What?
they bounce
They're
and
not.
jiggle like
Have you
they're
seen
real,
Trading
but-
Places? Those
They
are
were real in Trading Places.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
she's
and Trading
many
Places,
decades
they were
older
like-
now, y'all.
Yeah.
Right.
Half
I mean,
size.
she might have had a lift or
Lift,
something.
yeah.
I don't think she's getting any
Listen.
implants.
Okay, all right. Listen, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do this.
Also, once you get older, once you go to menopause, they get bigger, you know? So,
Yeah.
that's the
not
thing.
necessarily. What are you
No,
talking
no,
about?
No,
Okay.
Have
No.
you seen?
Selma
have you-
Hayek was
Selma
saying.
Hayek- Selma
I
Hayek's
thought I
got
signed
Selma
on
Hayek
for
has had
weapons.
work
Well,
done
that's
as
because-
well.
Yeah, so we okay.
All right. I'm doing good. I'm very
All
I
right.
busy.
said I wasn't
Um,
gonna do this. I said I wasn't
Salma
gonna
has
do
I-
gained weight. That's another reason why.
Yeah,
All right,
Jamie
all right.
Lee,
Because-
too.
Nadia,
I
this-
saw
this
that.
stream is going to be full of great memories.
Oh, this is getting started off like
You piece of
just like
shit.
last week's stream, Nadia. I just have a
It's
feeling.
my fault. I saw. Yeah, I saw Weapons. I've talked about it a few times on a few streams, but I'm very excited to finally talk spoilers about it. I've been very vague and wishy-washy, and that's lame. So I'm good to dive into it. Yeah, I was supposed to go out of town. I should have driven out earlier, but I was like, nope. Nadia's doing her weapon stream, so I'll leave after that. So I'll get to where I got to go at like 2 a.m. probably. But other than that, I'm ready to dive in. I'm excited. I got a lot of
Yeah.
stuff to do before I go to Chicago.
I had to slow Enzo down. Like, this film only takes about a half hour, and Enzo's like half hour. He's cracking his knuckles. Like, that's some rookie numbers, kid. We can do a fucking 5-hour stream on
I
weapons. And I'm
know.
like, you son of a bitch.
We're not doing 5
did it-
hours tonight.
We
I
did
am
8
not
hours
doing,
on
we're
Ninja
not
Turtles.
doing
once.
5.
I'll just point
He
that
will, trust me.
Nor
We
are we
did.
doing what Leon did, where he went 24 hours and then crashed. Leon,
Oh.
he went
It's
from
fun.
one stream to another stream to another stream, and I
Oh.
caught him at the tail end. I was like, he's not making his own
Hey,
stream.
Leon is built different. I can attest to that.
He is. Let's say hi to the chat. Chimera. How do you say this, Katie?
Chimera.
Chimera.
Chimera. Thank
Chimera.
you. See,
Chimera?
I don't speak English. Oh, one thing I have this pinned,
Aw.
so I'll share this. My best friend's dog is in the ICU right now. I know it's
Okay.
a downer. I'm sorry.
Mm.
So if you can donate, appreciative. It's pinned in the chat. If you can just share this out to your communities and folks, your Facebook, Twitter, whatever, that would be much appreciative as well. So, and you can read all about it in here and stuff like that.
When pets
So
get sick, it shit's
Bless the
expensive.
International
Yeah.
Canine Unit.
Dude, Yellow
It
Man,
is.
Yellow Man got in a cat fight. His eyeball was doing better. He has a scratch cornea, and then today it's just like full of fucking pus and stuff. And I'm like, dude, this is the day I'm leaving, and I'm gonna be gone for a week until his checkup next
Wow.
time. So
I would be.
he might lose his eye. I don't care. Whatever, it's his problem. I keep telling Yellow Man to stop scrapping with other cats.
He was fighting a bear.
What's up, Zach?
That's like 120 pounds.
Neon Earth Vital. Thank you for the raid, Leon. Appreciative as always. Little Miss Anonymous one. Dax is here. Yes, I know. New time because Katie has occupied my Tuesday evenings now.
Thanks for letting me know, Katie.
Yeah. Jake for 5 Horror with Nads memberships. Thank you for the gift, Jake, so much. With that being Spanish or German? First person scream it out.
German.
Okay. Where'd it go? There it
Und
is.
schmeiß ich dich ins Feuer! Du dämliches Schweinstück! Du willst mir tun! Ich werd's dir zeigen! Nein!
What's up, Rick? Box Office Brawler, who I will be on his show next Tuesday talking Barbarian, which will be interesting because I do love Barbarian. Ben the Gem. Bobby is here as always, baking and getting baked.
Bobby,
Okay.
legend.
Yeah. Samuel's here. Sergeant's here. If I'm missing anybody, I'm sorry. Demon Knight's here. Chris Gore lost his damn mind. Weapons is, I don't know what.
It's supposed to be
No, it's
a
weapon
10.
assist.
So weapons is a 10 because he was
Oh,
on my
okay.
stream tonight. Yeah, making comments.
Okay.
It's
All right.
not though. It's really not.
Leon, don't spoil it for everybody. Let's
I
get
didn't say-
into it.
Okay, no, let's be real though. The odds of a movie being a 10, even if this movie is really good, how many
he's not
perfect
wrong.
action movies are there?
A 10
Very,
I mean,
very
you're not wrong.
few.
Okay, you're fair. You're not wrong.
Listen.
With that being said, we're going to talk about weapons. We're going to do spoiler free, folks.
Look at him
For those
flipping
of
that
you in the
cat.
chat, it's going to be spoiler free for a little
Oh,
bit, and then we'll
shit.
get into spoilers. We will get
Oh,
into
okay.
spoilers. Those are watching on the replay. It will be timestamped. And I will warn everybody before we get into it. Initial thoughts around the panel. Leon, what's your initial thoughts of it?
This is a very well shot, well acted, uniquely structured film that kind of fails its job of being a horror film, and it gets a bit too repetitive. I would say the third act is either makes the movie or makes the movie fall apart. It's going to be divisive. I can't wait to dive further into this because man, there's a lot to talk about this movie. Some very good and a lot that is just so bad.
Okay. All right. Thank you for being honest. Katie?
I agree with everything Leon said, except that it's repetitive. Because the part that you see, they're always from different points of view. And so you're getting subtext and diving into people's emotions and their backgrounds and what makes them the characters and their motivations, which lead to the reasoning behind certain things happen in the film. But I do agree, the ending 100% is going to be divisive because it's going to, some people are going to love it, some people are going to hate it because it is a lighter ending than probably more horror fans wanted. And so it goes in a more like laughable direction. It's clearly made to make you laugh. So, but I like it.
I'll have a question for you when we get into spoilers then. Rachel, what about you?
Katie stole the words right out of my mouth. You will either like it or you will not. My theater did. When we get to spoilers, I'll talk about the ending. But I thought for a sophomore film that it was better than the Brothers Bring Her Back sophomore film. I really liked the direction. I thought this was a great acting from the little boy, and just overall, yeah, I liked it, and I can't wait to see it again with my boyfriend who didn't get to see it. So,
Sin?
It made up for the disappointment that Barbarian was. This one stuck the landing for me. Was solid from start to middle to end. And I have some questions that might be cons, but overall, I absolutely love this film, and I'm going to be seeing it again with my son.
Very cool. Blue?
I'll say 3 points. Number one, marketing. Everybody here, the marketing was fucking fantastic because how many times the past 20 years has everybody been spoiled by trailers, marketing, actors? I walked into this film, I had no fucking idea what I was walking into, and I was pleasantly surprised. Also, I caught a 217 showing, which I've never
Same.
caught a 217 showing. That was genius. Watching this film, as everybody knows, horror is a very hard genre to get because either people are going to love it or hate it based on the ending. How many films in history where the first and second act could be shitty, but if the third act is fantastic, they'll forgive the first and second act? I was walking in thinking this is going to be very divisive, as people have already said. And last but not least, I am pleasantly surprised because everybody's here tired of requels, remakes, reboots, sequels, vampires, werewolves, blah, blah. This was a very original concept, and I loved the originality. Whatever flaws this film has, I will forgive it for being original. I'm not seeing another fucking Friday the 13th or Jason or Chucky or Michael Myers. It's something new. And the third act I wasn't expecting, and I had a great time. And Josh Brolin is a fantastic actor.
I have a question about that when everyone's done, Blue.
Enzo?
This is one of my favorite movies about a modern day movie about blank. Spoilers. I'm not going to say it right now, but I
could be a
liked
lot
it
of
a lot. I loved it. I watched it the second time, skimmed through it. It still holds up. It's just a great mystery movie. The guy who made not just Barbarian, but he also co-directed Miss March, that hilarious Whitest Kids You Know movie. He's the guy from the PCP, Gallon of PCP sketch on Whitest Kids You Know. So people complaining that this movie has like a lighter tone, it's funnier, it's kind of, I enjoyed that. This movie is a great roller coaster. I liked watching it. It's a mystery. You kind of solve the mystery like halfway through the movie though, and then the following third act is like, how is it going to wrap up? And I thought, like Sin said, it really stuck the landing. Theater loved it. Theater went crazy. And I thought it was a great movie because not only is it literally a fun story and it's very original and it's well directed, a great soundtrack. The soundtrack was awesome. George Harrison.
Depends on what if it was about the Pied Piper, man.
Yeah, the Pied Piper. God, that was weird. Nihat stream. Anyway, but what else I loved about it was just, metaphorically, I was getting themes about, obviously school shootings and survivor's guilt. Also, basically, the main takeaway I took from this movie was weaponizing children is going to backfire on you. Don't do it. It was great. I thought it was a cool, I don't know, it's just good. This movie, I thought, saying a lot more than it's putting out, and it's a good show, don't tell style storytelling. And the narrative structure, I thought, was a great way to kind of slowly unravel the mystery and also like keeping you engaged all the way to the end, the way that like all the story points kind of converge, kind of like Cloud City at the end of Empire Strikes Back. It's just like everything is just like all the dominoes are set up and everything just comes to play, and then the ending happens and it's so, yes, tonally it shifts, but it's so satisfying also. So I thought that was really great.
I feel like a teacher when I'm calling on everybody. It took me a second to realize that. Toxic, go ahead.
Yes, present, Miss Nadia, present. It's a great movie. I'll be shocked if it doesn't wind up in my top 5 of 2025 and at the upper half of that list as well. I'll be really surprised. That said, for all of the good stuff, and there's a lot of good, there are truck-sized plot holes in this movie that I'm kind of not super forgiving of, and on repeated viewing, I caught them enough on the first time, but again, just watching it now when I had my little notebook and flashlight, I wrote most of them down, and I'm very happy to be, shot down with that if someone can. I've just so you know, I've been on TikTok ever since the movie before your stream came on, just picking fights with people because people are just defending all the plot holes and they obviously didn't really watch the movie or didn't understand it. So, but
yeah, toxic being on TikTok.
Yeah. So yeah, no, but I mean, it's everything that everyone has said good about it. I will not even remotely disagree. It's beautifully shot, extremely well acted. I'll add one that no one's mentioned yet. The dialogue and the performance of that dialogue is so genuine and so amazing that you almost feel like a lot of times a fly on the wall. You're eavesdropping in on conversations you should not. All of the stuff is really realistic, and for those who've streamed with me more than once, you know that a pet peeve of mine is when people say or act a way that is just not realistic, especially in conversations. I feel like dialogue is the biggest thing that'll bring me back. I'll forgive a lot if the dialogue is good. So and that is, you know, that's that. And then we got an incredible child actor, which after dealing with the Institute for the last several weeks, being a great child actor was really refreshing. So that's where I come out.
Thank you everybody for your opinions on it. Even though on this channel we say opinions are like buttholes and sometimes they stink. My opinion on this movie is that I went in hoping to have something completely different than the trailer, and I got exactly what I wanted. Something completely different from the trailer, unexpected. I enjoyed it from start to finish. There was some lagging at certain points in Act 1 and 2 that I did check my watch thinking like, damn, this movie's taking a minute to kind of get to the point. But on rewatch, I could see why the structure of it, why he was placing this storytelling. Similar to Enzo mentioning, I thought originally it was about school shootings. Doing a little bit more deeper dive, to me, it's apparent it's more about alcoholism, just based off what it was written for and stuff. But just because the director says it's based off one thing, everybody interprets art differently. So it could be about a numerously amount of things. Survivor's guilt, like Enzo was saying, a lot of other stuff. So that being said, spoiler warning for everybody in the chat. Spoiler warning because I don't think we could talk about this movie openly without spoilers.
It's very hard.
It is. Exactly. It is very hard, and I don't want. And to be honest, you need to go into this movie blind to make your own opinion about it. I say the same thing about War of the Worlds too. You need to go in blind about weapons.
Stop it now! You're going to discredit everything you say tonight if you continue with this narrative.
Well, that's what I liked about, like Blue Collar said, the marketing was genius, and this is why I think directors need to start being in charge of their own movie trailers, because I feel like if this movie was marketed differently, I think it would have been a very different ride, you know? But this movie was more direct.
Almost to bounce off Enzo, and we'll get into it later, but there's a certain actress and character that was never part of the marketing. So when this character shows up in the third act and that right there would have been a spoiler in itself. I didn't know she was part of this film. So I'm like, okay, and but that's a big synopsis. What's this film about? Kids go missing. Why?
You get glimpses of her in the trailer, and that's one of those things where as soon as I got home, I rewatched both trailers, and I'm like, dude, it's all right there in plain sight, you know.
Even in the first act. But okay, so spoilers. Everybody has spoilers alert. We are getting into spoilers for this, so we are going to start spoilers. So just so everybody knows what we're talking about Weapons 2025. Directed by Zach Cregger. His first film, he's done quite a few films. Most people know him for Barbarian. When all but one child from the same class mysteriously vanishes on the same night at exactly the same time, a community is left questioning who or what is behind the disappearance.
It's the Pied Piper.
It is the Pied Piper. No. I think it's 8. Okay, perfect. I have slides, so just have visuals for it and stuff like that. All right.
It's best modern day movie about witches, and of course it's about witches. Witches take children, obviously. So it was.
Witches.
Did anybody think of that old movie, The Witches? Not the one that it got remade recently, but that's what
mice.
the transformation scene in that movie reminded me a lot of. So, what questions does everybody have since everybody on the panel has seen it? Go ahead, Sam.
I have a question. This was kind of glaring to me. And maybe this is just because I don't understand the rules of the witchery that was going on. How come...
I believe it's called witchcraft.
That. How come when the little boy broke the spell for the kids, it didn't break the spell for the adults?
Well, he didn't break the spell for the kids. What he did was,
he turned them. So how come it didn't do the same thing for the adults? Is basically what I don't understand that.
So basically, the way I saw it was the bell is what puts you in this like zombie-like trance.
Yes,
and that's why you kind of Josh Brolin's character does not actually get the bell, so he just gets sent on attack mode. I'm guessing.
And the
basically when
parents.
he-
I have an answer for you, Sen.
The
It's really
parents
easy.
had the bill. Okay, yeah.
So she has multiple. If you look, if I thought the same thing when on a rewatch, if you look, she's got multiple branches in that plant, and you got to
Okay.
remember one of the branches she used earlier on to move the children when they were doing the house
It's
investigation.
got
Okay.
all the kids' hair on it.
So they have all the kids' hair on there. So he just activated it with his own blood, with his own like instructions.
And
And
took some of
it.
her
He
hair.
Yeah.
He put a hair
So-
from the wig
Yeah,
on
in
it,
there.
So, yeah.
Just
so they
curious,
would
watching
attack them.
the film, they never say what it was, but like to my knowledge, is this voodoo or witchcraft? Because my voodoo always
Blood
takes
magic.
blood
I've
magic.
heard
Blood
people
magic.
call it
Blood magic.
voodoo, but my first thought was witch. You know, she was some
Oh,
type of
It's
witch.
I mean,
blood
I-
magic. You
stuff.
have to give in order to get. So like my ex, she was like big into like voodoo and shit like that. And so you have to give a part of yourself in order to get a result. And just because when the spell is broken, it's not like Cinderella bippity boppity boo. It's like a poison that's been put into you. So that's why the kids are still all effed up, and that's why the parents are all effed up. It's like
I think it's like the
and-
longer you're under, you know,
right,
the
and
worse
so
it is.
yeah. So you until she drew her last breath, the spell that she had ongoing was going to keep progressing. So like Thanos was going to keep choking out the Silver Surfer until
Mhm.
you know the witch was actually dead. So luckily they
Well,
had
I
done it
knew
quickly
her
enough.
dying was going to end, like what
Yeah.
was going on with the
Yeah.
adults.
Yeah.
But then, of course, some people were still very affected by it, as we heard the kids. You know,
yeah, it
eventually
takes a
some of them
toll.
started talking.
I
again.
have a question for everybody. Who picked up that it was witches or witchcraft before she even came into the
I did.
screen?
Well, going
I
in, I
did.
thought it was either going to be about witches or aliens, or
I thought the
some
cult.
weird shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
something like
thought
that.
a little bit. I thought a little bit maybe aliens for like half of a second, like maybe aliens because there's another movie that's kind of similar to that, but yeah, no. I
Yeah,
was
and
going
also
like
we keep
witches.
seeing hallucinations of this woman, you know, who
Yeah.
actually is in the prologue. She is in the prologue when they're interviewing Alex's parent.
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
see
they
how
sure
they're-
very
I
briefly.
have
like
something
that.
to
in the
say.
corner of the screen.
Yeah, I have something to say about that when it's my turn to start knocking this down because that's
Well,
a problem.
I'm interested to hear before we get to that. Sin, did you have another question?
The only other thing, not really a question, just the whole thing about the explanation, how they tried to explain how the police were so easily fooled
Mm.
by the little, the little boy and
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
aunt.
Yeah.
Like, okay, they tried to make an explanation, but I kind of didn't buy it because things were
Yeah.
just so creepy and off. You would think that the police would be like, "What?"
Well, I'm
And
glad you
instead of-
brought that up
Yeah,
I'm-
that stood out to me. I was like, I don't
Yeah.
know about that.
because
well-
that's all the fights I've been picking on TikTok for the last like hour and a half, 2 hours. Is like all these people in TikTok that are going to. There's a couple different ones going. Would the police really do this? Would the police really do that? This is the only problem I have with this movie. Yada yada yada. And then there's these people doing these mental gymnastics, going, but she said in the beginning that the police were embarrassed, and then the guy shut his dash cam off because he was going to do bad things to the tweaker. So you see, it makes sense. I'm like, no, that's not a
Neither one
17
of those.
a 17 person federal missing persons case is
Right, yeah,
commensurate-
no.
is
Yeah.
commensurate
They
with
let
Yeah.
it slide too easily.
Molly
I-
whopping
yeah.
a tweaker. No,
Yeah,
I was going to
same.
say, as someone who former cop and lives in an area with a whole lot of tweakers, most cops don't give a fuck if you break protocol and punch a tweaker.
Well,
I'm gonna be
there's-
real.
Katie, what were you gonna say, Katie?
No, none of those reasons that I guess TikTokers are giving would be an explanation. In the beginning, when they're interviewing the teacher and the child, they clearly have him sitting on a couch. They hand him a can of Coke. They're coddling him. He's clearly a victim. They're asking him questions. They're not going very intensely of trying to find out
Yeah.
because they don't think he has anything to do with it.
I think that
The
was a
teacher-
part of it.
But
They
the
interview
adults
at
around
the
him.
police station. Well, no, the adults that completely agree, but like
Yeah, like,
but
weird.
they interviewed the teacher at the police station. They're way more aggressive. They clearly assumed it was her to begin with.
Yeah.
I don't think
Mhm.
they believed the child because they see him as a victim. They don't assume that he would have anything to do with it. The entire film consistently shows that the reason there's so many issues is because everyone is blindsided by their own personal issues.
Yeah.
Like, you have the captain having his own personal issues with the fact that he clearly doesn't like his daughter's boyfriend. They clearly have tension. And then the boyfriend or the cop has his own issues with being an alcoholic. Like, everyone has their own stuff going on that if they actually had all worked together and put aside their stuff and trying to blame each other, they would have actually found the kids way earlier.
I think that was a big part of what they were trying to say, because either A, you could hand wave it that it was witchcraft that makes the federals never look into the basement or whatever. But like I said, all the kids weren't even there. So it's like one of those things where what I really think they're just trying to say is like the police are incompetent. And this is, demonstrated a lot with Paul's character. And then furthermore, like Josh Brolin's character, he has to put the matters in his own hands and kind of solve it himself,
Yeah.
But he's only even putting it in his own hands because he was a bad dad. The other parents don't have that issue because they actually are victims in the fact that they lost their child and they're just grieving. Josh Brolin is like motivated to find his kid because he feels bad about the fact that he was an awful dad and that clearly he has a bully for a kid. He even in the dream sequence is saying they're crying and saying that he should have told him. He's like, I should have told you I loved you. So he's dealing with his own grief. And so he's more motivated to try and find his own kid because he feels like he failed him.
I love when the police are like, God, doesn't he know there are other kids missing too? It's not just his kid that's missing. They're like annoyed that he keeps coming by. Like, any updates?
So I'm gonna point out since we're on it now anyway, I'm gonna point out the problem and I'm gonna give you a solution. 2 of them. So the biggest problem is we don't live in that kind of world. Okay, so there's way too many. I mean, I'm glad they at least gave a passing notice to Ring cameras, but do you know how many Ring cameras there are in a white bread suburban neighborhood like that? There is not even a ghost of a chance that wouldn't have been seen. Yes, they go through the thing where she's like, let's clean up the house and let's send the kids on their way, but while raising all kinds of red flags herself. I'll get to that later. Believe me on that one. But
I thank the Lord this cast change happened. I thank the Lord that this strike happened, because some of these actors would not have brought the gravitas that some.
No, the actors did a great job.
Name, it's cool. We all hate him.
But as far as like, listen, a month goes by and everyone just kind of like shrugged it off. This is 17 kids in a suburban neighborhood. They would have TikTokers, YouTube people, one of those families would have hired a private investigator, if not more. They would have a federal, state police would be in there. That place would be on lockdown. And there is no way.
I have
on the drive home from seeing this movie. Me and my roommate went and saw it together. That was it's about a 10-12 minute drive from my apartment to the theater. That was half of the discussion on the ride home. Why was there not like federal investigators? Why was this not viral? Like the idea of this being like covered up or not spreading is there's no way to rationalize it to where.
So I don't want to beat a dead horse and just I mean, you guys get the point of what I'm trying to say. So there's the problem. Here's the solution. Number one, had they set this in the 80s, half of that would have been, because there wouldn't have been no Ring cameras. There is no social media, no cell phones with
You said in the 90s even.
But how would you
early 2000s?
Yeah.
How would you know they left at 217 because without technology they wouldn't know that they left at 217?
That's not okay. Well, I mean, that is a cool.
But you could easily say they all left in the middle of the night the same night.
The 217. I get it as a cool little Easter egg, but it's not that contingent to the entire story. They could have just had an aside, just like they left sometime around
in the night. Yeah,
I mean, and I get it. It's important to the director to have that in, but I mean, at the same time, he's cutting his own throat with that. And then the other thing, they could have done a Stephen King's It type situation where her spell was putting some sort of murky thing all over the town, making people kind of not like just like they didn't have to like beat it to death. They could have just had a thing going, hey, are you?
Sorry, time out for 1 second. Those watching and stuff. The pin thing I have, pin comment. Everybody don't. Unfortunately, my friend, she just said goodbye to her dog.
Oh, bummer.
I had a feeling something had happened. Was watching you.
Yeah.
I
just
sorry.
I don't mean to bum everybody's day
Billy.
out for it stuff, but I wanted to just stop.
R.I.P.
because people were
Doggo.
Still
nice.
On
donating.
the flip side, I have it on very good authority that all dogs go to heaven.
I
They
have
do.
heard that as
They
well.
do.
I've heard that as well.
They do, and she was an elderly dog too. On top of it, so I just wanted to stop
Well,
for a
tell
second.
her sorry from all of us. I'm a dog lover myself, believe it or not. So
Yeah. So.
I mean, if the big problem of the movie is like, oh, the cops should have solved this mystery. Yeah, I mean, you could have had it. What I felt was that one of my big problems with the movie is they say that the school was closed for a month, which is a lot of time. Whereas if the school was closed for like a week, and then I think what the stuff that we see in the movie is like takes place over the course of a couple days, you know?
Yeah.
Except for like some of Alex's stuff.
And that could have been another solution too, if they had shortened up
if it
the
just
time
took place
table.
over a shorter period of
Listen,
time. Yeah,
with too much time, you have the, let's go race up to Area 51 because we want to know something. Let's go protest. Let's go do like when social media gets their teeth into something, there's just no time. For that.
Yeah.
That place would have been, and there's no way this kid was going to just be meandering around to the grocery store, spending hundreds of dollars on soup, and no one was going to watch that and go, boy, that sure is weird how he's bringing all this food to the house, and he's the one kid that's not missing from the class. Well, I'm sure everything's fine.
Look, man, Campbell's has a very enticing marketing campaign.
Well, marketing wise, like I think that was also a big thing was like they left out the fact that one kid doesn't go missing because as soon as you hear that, you're like, well, obviously he has something to do with it. And then they do try to make you think, no, he doesn't. But, it's one of those things in the back of your head. And when it does end up being the kid, you, just like everybody else, and the cops are like feel kind of stupid. You're just like, duh. Why the hell didn't why didn't we just press on this a little harder?
I do want to say how much I love this movie, and I'm going to gush about it when we get to that portion of it or whatever. But I will say that it does start to collapse. It's kind of like Sixth Sense or Signs in the way that it collapses under repeated viewing because the fantastical.
The whole point,
yeah, go ahead.
If your whole big complaint is like, oh, the cops would have solved this sooner. I mean, you don't really have that much of a story there, and also, you could just hand wave it off with like shelter, shelter spell. Yeah, it's like a shelter spell, baby.
No.
I think we're hyper
That's a terrible
fixated.
analogy because X-Files is able to tell the cops figuring out supernatural something story every week for 10 years. So there's definitely story there.
I think we're hyper focused on the police work. It's just storytelling. We have to just accept. We just have to accept this plot
because it sets it up.
It doesn't take away from the movie. It doesn't take away from the movie.
No, it doesn't. Not for me, it doesn't.
This is the problem because
this is the problem with autism.
If we want to sit here and be like, oh, this movie is great, or look, there's a lot of good to be said about this movie, but hand waving pretty fucking massive plot holes and saying things like this movie's a 10 shows a lack of being able to
I gave it an 8.
Look at films.
No one on the panel gave
more
the film
than
a 10, Leon. So
I was obviously being hyperbolic, but that's my point.
But I think I wouldn't include it in your argument that you're making right now when no one on the panel said it was a 10.
Okay, but to making a hyperbolic argument, the point is, if we're going to look at media, any media, whether it be comic books, movies, video games, whatnot, and we're going to try and objectively rank them, rate them, discuss them, that's a pretty massive plot hole. Like, it is huge. And just
I hate to agree with him on literally
great,
anything, but I got to tell you, and I'm not trying to stay on this topic, but I got to tell you, he ain't wrong. I mean, look at this as an 8.
He's not wrong. I'm not saying he's not wrong. It is a big plot hole on it. Feds should be everywhere on this, right? Who knows? Maybe there was a segment of the movie that's on the editing floor. I'm just saying,
okay, but you don't judge a movie on what may or may not. You have to judge the movie on what's in the movie. You can't judge the movie.
I understand, but I'm saying
it is.
I don't care about TikTokers. TikTokers, that's dead brain cells all over TikTok. I'm saying it's just it's a minute issue where there's broader things that we could be talking about on it. I'm not saying it's not an issue. It is. There's a big plot hole. There's a couple big plot holes in this movie. Yeah. But I don't think it takes away from the enjoyment of the actual movie.
I didn't say that. I definitely enjoyed.
There's a difference between taking away from the enjoyment of a film and being able to look at what objectively makes a story
Right.
work versus not work, and grade a film or like on these storytelling merits.
It's more
like, for
toward-
example, in Blue Collar said something at the beginning of when he was doing his intro. He said this movie has a lot of flaws, but because it's original, I give it a pass. Like, that's not. I'm sorry, that's a terrible way to analyze media.
Well,
Originality is not inherently good.
I'm going to push back on
I
you
mean-
a little bit there. If a movie, it's like saying like you might have a space movie like Last Starfighter be really bad graphics and really shitty SFX, but it's such a great story and it's got great heart. I'm willing to forgive it for what it is, and in that way, I do agree.
I said something being original is not inherently good, is what I'm saying. So, like, to forgive
I disagree.
flaws because something's original
I disagree.
is a bad reason to forgive something.
I think in the world movies we live in, I think it would be really short-sighted to say, hey, this movie is one of the most original IPs that's come out in a long time, but it's got problem A, problem B, so yada, yada, yada. I disagree with you. I'm going to push back a little bit. I think the fact that it is original, I think that speaks volumes. But that being said, it's not just so my last statement on this, not just the police thing. Like, you would have, this is an 8-person panel right here, and you have an autistic weirdo that's like Leon that's going after this. You would have hundreds of social media influencers trying to figure out, ghost hunters and all that stuff, where these kids had gone in today's. They could have solved almost all these problems by putting it in the 80s.
Time out. Let's not call each other names. All right, we're all respectful here.
Come on now, you can call me a fucking
Okay.
name. I'm an adult.
No,
I can take it.
I know you're an
Call him a
adult,
name.
but don't call him an autistic.
What name did I call it?
All right,
Okay.
let's circle back. Let's circle back. Let's hit
Hey,
the
Nadia,
super chat, and then we're
I'll
going to
just
talk
say
about
one thing. I
characters.
think we're also grossly overestimating the cops and the feds. The cops and the feds fuck up all the goddamn time.
Cops suck. That's the point they're trying to make. I
There's
think.
this thing called, what's it called? Epstein. Oh yeah, remember those files that supposed to get
Yeah.
released?
Yeah,
And-
that's
I
on
feel
purpose
like
now.
I feel there
Yeah,
are
it's on
bigger
purpose.
issues
So
with
I-
the movie
yeah, so
versus
You're
having
exactly.
cops.
way too large.
Yeah.
This is an
I'm
extremely
just saying,
small town.
I'm fine with the small
Yeah.
town. 17 kids go missing, and cops are so idiots, and the feds all the damn time. I'm constantly seeing articles about the feds doing sting operations where kids are going missing 6 months ago and they couldn't find them. I'm fine with this shit happen in 2025.
Right. Well,
because-
that's when they're in on it, though. That's when they're selling
But,
them.
No,
so the
even if
point
you
is,
wanna-
the point is the
Even
cops
if you wanna be
are
realistic
morons. Simple as
To
that. and
current
the feds.
day,
Yeah.
there's kids that go missing
Yeah.
every day, and people
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
find them.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
the cops
Yeah.
are in on those ones.
School
That's
shooting
different.
happens, a
It's-
bunch of
it's
kids
not-
get killed, and
let's
people
move
seem
on.
to not
Yeah,
care.
it's
You know,
not in on it. It's
All
just
right.
people are stupid and incompetent. That's all.
Yes. So, all right, let's bring it back. We're going to talk character arcs and stuff like that. Let's hit sketches super chat for God's sake. Just dropped by to say I liked Weapons. Great movie, but I would have leaned into the unreliable narrated angle to the
Agreed.
mystery more.
Agreed.
And kick Leona.
It's certainly not an
Not-
8, but fair enough.
I gave it an 8. Don't you fucking start.
Yeah, but Nadia,
give it an
you're
8.
you're not exactly. You're the unreliable narrator in many streams that we're on when it comes to films. So
I might kick you for
I gave
gave
it
it an
more
8.
than an 8.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Great clip.
Great clip. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's not, it's not like Billy with his shirt off. That's a great clip right there.
All
I don't know
right.
what.
Don't forget you share that lofty crime. Did we lose somebody? Oh,
Yes.
Oh, Sin. Sorry, Sin.
Yeah.
Every time I play a clip, her video goes
What
out.
is that about?
All right.
What is that about? That's so
Yeah.
weird.
It's
Nadia?
just weird. StreamYard. Yes.
Can
Rachel.
we actually go around and see what everyone's quick rating is? Like, I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Sam?
Yeah, we could do that. We can do that. Quick rating. Leon, what did you give it out of
out of the
10?
theater, I gave it 6. But after thinking on it for over the weekend and whatnot, I honestly think I dropped it to a 5.
Oh my god.
Wow.
I mean,
okay.
5 is not bad. 5 out of 10
No.
is not bad. 5 is
No,
like
that's average. I think
mid,
this
yeah.
is, in terms of a movie, I think this is an average movie that has a lot of good things about it and bad things about it. It evens out to be average.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
all right.
I
I'll
can't
wait
believe
for
I just
Sin to get back.
defended you.
Katie,
As a film, it's
Yeah.
it's easily
your
an 8 out
overall
of 10.
rating.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's easily an 8 out of 10. If you're saying if I'm going based off of a horror genre though film, the score
I have-
probably would change. But if I'm just going off of film, it's
Higher
An
or
8 out-
lower?
it would be lower if it's horror. If we're going straight off horror, because
Yeah,
there's-
that's
there's
not bad.
definitely way more comedic aspects to this film.
It's
I
not
can-
very
doesn't-
scary.
I-
Yeah.
I can easily understand why someone who is a huge horror film person who wanted it to be extremely scary and thought it was going to be a scarier film would be upset when they watched
Yes,
this because
I
it wasn't what you
100% agree.
expected. But then after getting over that aspect and going based off of what you actually saw, it is a very good film.
That is a question I'm going to ask the panel. We're not going to talk about right now, so don't include it in your fucking ratings. But I am going to ask if you consider this a horror movie, because this has been a nonstop discussion in chats that I've been on, and I'm going to start ringing some necks. Rachel, initial rating.
8. Yes.
8 out of 10. Okay, Blue.
8.
8. Enzo.
Yeah, an 8. Solid 8.
Okay. Toxic.
9, actually. I despite its problems, it's a solid 9.
We found a new contender for the lofty crown. Sin.
I gave it an 8.65.
I gave it an
Oh, Jesus.
8.5 on it, out of 10 out of it. So for me, the genre that I love the most is horror. This is a horror movie to me. I don't think you have to be scared for it to be a horror movie.
How could it not be a horror, though? How could it not be?
Some people say
thriller, mystery, subgenre,
supernatural thriller, but there's some horrific stuff in the movie. There's definitely some extremely violent kill scenes and some jump scares, and it's about witches. I mean,
I was on
I
the
don't know.
edge of it. Like, there are scary scenes in this film.
Yes.
But some people don't
it's
find
literally
it scary.
only the ending that pivots to funny, and the thing is, it's not really funny as it's grotesque, it's shocking,
Dark
it's
humor.
but it's
much needed
satisfying
levity.
too.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
and it's
that's weird to me. That's what
That's
I keep
why-
hearing.
they could have filmed it differently and added music, and it'd have been totally intense.
I keep hearing people were like laughing in that, but they didn't in the theaters.
They
I was
laughed in
amazed.
mine. I laughed
dude,
too.
I
was
feel
laughing
it.
ridiculous.
My theater.
Well,
Off
'cause
at the
comedy
end. I
and horror-
wasn't. I didn't.
Yeah.
I mean,
Comedy and horror go together so well because they balance each other. Because
Sure.
sometimes when you have the heavier moments, the horror and stuff, all of a sudden
Need a
scenes are
relief.
all,
Yeah.
Dark jokes.
Yeah.
Very dark jokes.
And
of
it's
it.
specifically-
it helps.
It kicks off too with the witch herself, literally like looking out, they like knowing something's wrong, and be like, oh no. And you just hear the rumbling, and this big and you saw this stuff in the trailer, so you knew it was going to happen. But yeah, the stampede of kids is just so ridiculous.
It was funny.
Is
and
it
it's
maybe
great,
because
and-
there was a lot
I
of
would
people
counter that
in the
though by
theater?
saying that while it is funny, and I mean I'll agree it's funny. It's tonally jarring because the film has not been like that almost at all until the end. Whereas take something like Evil Dead 2, which is a horror comedy, but it is tonally consistent between the two for the whole
The movie has
film.
lots of
It's
laughs.
not
The movie has
instant
lots of
shame.
laughs in
laughed
the movie.
way
Greg said he
more.
was influenced by Evil Dead 2 on this as well.
Josh
so-
Brolin wakes up from a ridiculous nightmare, and he's just like, "What the fuck?"
What the-
I got
we
a
all
huge
been
laugh.
Everybody, we all been yeah. So the movie is told in from different POVs. So you're seeing basically the same time span happening, and you'll get to a certain point where the mystery is about to be revealed, and then we get back. We go
I love
backwards
that
into
way
a
of
different
story. I love that way of storytelling.
Same.
That is
I
one
think
of my
same.
sometimes
Me too.
I like it
Yep.
too. It's the Strange Darlings did that last year, and that was one of my favorite
Rashomon
movies
Yes.
last
style.
year.
Magnolia. No,
all right.
no, it's not
Yeah.
I'll have to
Rashomon.
watch that this
No,
weekend.
no.
Yeah, this movie's
it's not-
very influenced by Magnolia.
it's
Paul
not
is
Rashomon.
literally
Well,
John C. Riley in Magnolia.
No,
I
literally.
agree with you, Enzo. I think
Rashomon is different POVs, but
Yeah.
subtly changing the narrative to the unreliable. So, but this is, I think this is like more Magnolia leaning than anything else.
So the first character we follow is Justine, who's played by Julia Gardner. She's the teacher of the kids that go disappearing. She is going to be put on leave eventually. They're trying to put her on leave, which I'm like, girl, take it. Like, I don't know why you want to be teaching with everybody, and everybody is blaming her and looking at her because obviously in real life scenario, she would be a prime suspect
Yeah, of
because
course.
it's her entire classroom. And I'm taking it back. Julia Gardner, you're coming back on my better side.
I was
thought
gonna
she was
ask you this. I was gonna ask
horrible.
you this.
Actually, she won me over in Fantastic Four, surprisingly.
Oh wow. Okay.
I don't know why.
Oh,
But
boy.
I like how she has different moods throughout this movie, and she plays it
Yeah.
very well. Even when she
Yeah.
starts drinking, the alcoholism added into
Yeah.
that.
She's
So-
great.
She's very
great in it.
sympathetic. Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
drunk.
What the sympathetic? Are you insane?
She is a
This-
sympathetic
This
character.
cunt
Well,
is the worst
thing
character
is-
in the movie.
here's
the
She's
thing.
No,
single-handedly
no,
knocks
no.
2 points off of it.
Here's
She's
the problem.
sympathetic.
Yeah.
Here's the
as
problem
well.
with her.
She is a
She's
monster.
real. No,
Fuck her.
she-
She should have died.
Whoa.
How
Here's
is
the
she?
thing.
Okay.
Here's the thing, Leon.
That's a little
She-
over the top. How's she a monster?
Here's the thing, Leon.
Yeah, Leon. I wanna-
She
I'm curious
does-
why.
That's interesting.
She does terrible things as a teacher. She's not the best teacher, but you know,
What?
it's one of those things where she cares too
Terrible
much for these
person.
kids.
You know,
She
why
cares-
is she terrible?
Wait,
Oh,
I
she's
don't
a
think
whole-
she did terrible
like-
things as a
No,
teacher.
no, okay. She's,
No,
she
no,
starts
she's,
fucking her ex after getting him drunk when she
So?
knows he's
Wait a
Alcoholics
second.
Anonymous is getting sober.
So?
She's
Well,
been shown to
he
be fired
told her-
from previous.
He told her that he was broken up with his girlfriend.
Yeah,
This
he
is true.
did.
Yep.
I didn't
And
say
so
that he
she-
was a
so-
good. I didn't say that he
Why
was a
are
good
you-
dude.
why are
Whether
you
he's broken up or
slut-shaming?
not,
Why
the
are you
fact that
doing
she
that?
convinces somebody who's in AA to start drinking,
That's
that's terrible.
Maybe-
She's
well-
been fired from previous jobs.
Number
She didn't
one,
know
maybe
that.
she didn't. Maybe she didn't know
didn't
that he
know
was
that.
right.
She knew.
She
She
knows.
knew.
and
she
maybe
knew.
and she.
He
I don't-
orders
I
a
don't
Coke,
know.
And she goes,
Do they
"Oh,
even say
really?"
she
Like,
knows? I don't know.
No.
Yeah,
All
she
right,
did, yes,
I
no, she
understand-
knows.
I didn't get the
She gets
feeling that she
indignant
knew.
when he orders a Coke because she's like,
Oh,
"Oh,
she
wow,
definitely
look,
knew.
you're going straight edge." and
Granted,
whatnot."
though,
Like,
Leon, from her perspective, she is being targeted. That her whole class is.
that
missing.
doesn't
She
give you.
doesn't-
I don't
No,
care
no,
if you're
let
being
me
targeted.
finish.
That doesn't
Let me
give you an
finish.
excuse to be
She doesn't
shockingly
know.
cunty.
She doesn't know what's going on. She is being labeled the witch throughout the entire town. People are looking
may as
sideways
well
at her.
have been.
She's in her own fucking innocence grief about
Okay,
it.
that doesn't
yeah,
give you the right to be a
It
terrible
doesn't.
person.
No, I'm not saying she's not. I'm not excusing that. That's a terrible thing to do to somebody who's in recovery.
Mm.
But I'm saying, from her perspective, she's not thinking. She's in her own fucking grief.
Yeah, no
about
bad
it.
guy
She's
thinks
an
of themselves as
alcoholic
a bad
to the
guy.
old
You're
time.
correct. Like,
I don't think
Well-
she's a bad guy,
well-
but she is wrong for tricking him back
dude,
into
she
starting his recovery over.
continuously is approaching this like
Mhm.
7, 9, whatever year
He
old
never
child.
show up
after being
either.
after being told not to, she's continuing to stalk a fucking child because, oh, I need to find out what happens to my kid
All right,
because
well,
of
I
my
gotta
kids,
push back.
because
I
of
gotta
my
push back.
grief.
Well,
She's not
I don't
thinking
think
about
so.
what's
I don't
going
think
on
there
with
was
this
anything
kid.
I don't think anyone. I don't think anyone agrees with
Uh-uh.
Leon right now. So don't worry.
Yeah,
about it.
Dude,
no.
she literally says
Leon,
it
if
in
you
the
did-
film.
She's
She
trying to
says it herself, and
investigate
the
it.
principal
All right, you
corrects her.
said your
She's
piece.
like,
You
"This
said
is
your
hurting
piece.
me,"
No,
and the
let him
principal's
finish,
like,
let him
"Maybe
finish.
you should not think about what's hurting you and think about what the kids."
Right.
She
You're not
actively,
wrong, but
like,
the point
says how
is,
selfish she
she's
is.
doing it not for like malicious reasons. She's
Out of
just like,
Well,
desperation.
no,
yeah.
I didn't say it was malicious, but it's still wrong. It's still a bad thing
Right.
to do.
No, it's
That's
not.
why she's a cool
I don't-
character because
no.
she's
No.
making bad choices for like good reasons. Like her, like a whole thing about her being
There's
a
selfish
not a bad
reasons, not good
teacher.
reasons.
Not a bad teacher, but the problem is like just like everybody else, like how did she not realize like the day before all the kids went missing, the one kid that didn't go missing was in the classroom at lunch, and
Took all
you know
the
you would have
art.
just
Rick said it right
you would've-
there.
noticed
She's
it.
she doesn't
desperate.
realize that
She's
you took
desperate.
all those
Desperate.
pieces of paper.
Yeah. I was.
Yeah,
That's my only. That's one of my griefs with it, Enzo. She's just standing right there. You don't notice this kid just took everybody's name tags.
I wrote
and
that down.
artwork
Yeah,
and
I wrote
stuff.
that down as a
Yeah,
as a
it's
plot hole
a big thing,
too.
but it's like who knows? Maybe she was drunk. I don't know. Who knows?
No, I think
but
it's
it's
more.
true. There.
Well, Sketch says Leon discovered means to give a character flaws. It's one thing to have a character have flaws, but when your entire character, when her whole character is flaws, there's nothing to root for.
She's
All
not
the characters are mostly
objectively-
flaws.
I mean,
Not
I will
all
give
the
Leon.
characters
I,
are flawed.
has
I'll-
flaws.
I will
She's
give Leon that.
objectively bad person.
I don't think
No,
I'm
she's
rooting.
not.
I'm more rooting for the fact that I want the mystery solved. I'm not rooting for this character doing. But I will say it was kind of funny when she got attacked and she's like, "Fucking help me!" Like, what's going
Yeah,
on?
that was
She was
great.
running out of
No, that
the
was very
runway.
What
There's,
she
like,
doesn't even
realism
attempt
to
to
it.
help Josh Brolin's character. Like he's sitting there trying to defend her, even though he actively fucking hates her and blames her for having a son, and she runs off multiple times.
she-
about
And that's
could make a
why
much
they decided
better
to work
argument.
together.
I could make a
I have a
much better
question for
argument
the.
that Josh
panel.
Brolin is a piece of shit than Julia Garner. I could make
He
a
is as
much
well.
better
Most
argument.
of the characters in this are pieces of shit. That's the point.
Paul as
which is
well?
what makes this a rough movie. Who is there to root for? Fuck it, I'm rooting for the witch. Fuck these kids. They're better off without these pieces of shit.
Okay.
Leon, you don't like kids anyway, so that
Edgelord.
doesn't
I love
count.
kids.
All
I
right,
make mean
Edgelord,
jokes about
Edgelord,
kids as a
fucking
joke, but I actually
Edgelord
love
right
kids.
now.
I know.
Can
Listen,
I pause
listen.
to say real quick? I feel bad for no man who's recovering alcoholic. You pussy, like
Yeah,
you know.
tell him blue collar. Listen, number one, it is very clear and well established that she loved the shit out of those kids. Yes, she's a broken person and she made some bad decisions, but I cannot be convinced that she knew Paul was in AA. No one, that's never explicitly stated, and I think it's very likely that this was something he did to appease the new wife, and she didn't know. It was very clear that they had a huge gap in between the last time that they even
tells
talked.
her no to alcohol.
Can I finish? I let you talk. I let you talk.
Let
Can I
him
finish?
Leon.
All right. I think it's very well established that there is a long gap in time. I think she knew it was probably not super great, but as someone else pointed out, he did say she and I are. It told her a blatant fucking lie that that him and his wife were on a break when they were actively trying to have a kid. So it takes two to tango. You cannot put it all on her. I thought
didn't
everything.
put it all on her.
But
Can I
he's
finish?
not.
Can I finish?
Well, no, because you're miscategorizing my argument. So no, I didn't put it all on her. So don't say that I did.
Okay, she's not a piece of shit. She is she's a broken person that has made mistakes, as have we all. But I think the reason why she kept pursuing Alex to try to figure out what was wrong is, one, she knew he was being bullied. Two, she knew that he was as much of a victim of this situation as she was. Number three, she is now being put out of the one thing that she has left. She's had a DUI. She's had broken relationships. All she's got is this job, and she's about to lose it.
What's the common denominator? Her, because she's a shitty person.
And she is about to lose all of the only people that she cared about, which was these kids. So she was desperate to find answers. And I would be hard pressed to say that somebody like you wouldn't go as far as you could out of your way to try to find out what happened to those kids and solve a mystery. I know you would. I would too. We'd break rules. We would step out of the box. We would tell our bosses
but
to
there's
go F
still
themselves.
a way to do things that are like morally correct. And again, you talk about how she's a broken person, this, that, and the other.
That can't be a
I'm
way.
not disagreeing with any of that, but that doesn't mean you can be a broken person, still be a piece of shit. Again, it's just like in real life. If your life is falling apart, you can't keep relationships around, you don't talk to your parents, you keep losing jobs, the common denominator is you're the problem. In this film,
we're not all in the ivory
Everybody-
tower, and we're not all as great
Take
of a person as
Leon-
you are, Leon.
Everybody take a break for a second.
No,
Let everybody else talk.
Leon just described me. I'm offended.
Katie, Rachel,
mean-
Sid.
Woosah. Woosah.
I
Leon,
liked her because she was flawed, but I do not
Right.
think that she was a piece of shit. And I understood why she went to the lengths that she did to try to find these kids. I appreciated that about her. And you could tell in her interactions with the kids that she truly did care about them. It was not coming from anything nefarious or malicious, her trying to find. And she knew something was up. She knew something was wrong with the one little boy. She could tell because she's a teacher and she's been around kids. So
Yeah.
she just knew. And so I felt sorry for her too.
Plus,
Yeah,
it's
even the
ingrained in all of
crackhead-
us to want
Even
to
the
clear your name.
crackhead.
If
Yeah,
you-
even
if
the
you get- if
crackhead
you
was
get-
like-
sorry, let me
Okay. Well, so,
Even the crackhead.
Enzo, go ahead, Enzo. Even the
Yeah,
crackhead.
even the crackhead's not trying to help, but like he's breaking into houses, he finds kids, and just like, obviously he's trying to get a reward, but also he's still, trying to do what's right. Like
What?
everyone is a piece of shit, but they're all
But
doing
the-
right. They're all trying to do good
No.
things. Solve this
Absolutely
mystery
not.
on
No.
an
Crackhead-
accidental thing.
No.
Enzo, I'm gonna push back a little bit. The crackhead didn't want the reward until he saw he was out of money. He wanted
Yeah.
the reward.
Right,
He
exactly.
got
Kids.
high before
Exactly.
he did anything
Yeah.
else. Like, that's
Yeah.
crazy talk. That's
Well, I
crazy.
don't think
Like,
he wait, did
he
he
had a-
see the how?
He saw the
happened?
kids. He didn't go
Saw
tell
the
anybody
kids.
until he saw the reward for the kids. Then he went to go tell somebody. So
Well, I have a feeling he
after
just
he got
didn't know
high.
what he
Right.
was looking at because he was so stoned. Then when he saw the
Right.
picture, oh, these
And
kids are
then-
missing. Oh, there's a
Mhm.
reward. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he just
let me.
glanced at it the
And
first
what's great
time.
is
It
like he's
literally
going to the
wasn't-
police station. Yeah, and then what's his name? Paul thinks that he's
Paul.
going to the police station
Yeah,
to put in
yeah.
a complaint against him, and Cher scares him
Yeah.
off. But of course, it's like if he had just asked him, "What the hell are you doing here?"
Right.
instead
And that
of
was
chasing
good
him off. It's
writing.
like a bunch of
It
things
was
Yeah.
in this
perfect
movie.
combination. Yes, it
Yeah.
was perfect.
It was
writing.
totally
I loved
believable.
that
You
scene.
you could buy
Mhm.
into that.
And James the crackhead totally stole the show. I mean, yes, the thing
Yes.
is like,
No,
yeah,
he
the
was
movie
great.
pivots
Yes, he did,
away
yeah.
from.
He did.
You don't even realize like it's really there's something supernatural or weird or spooky going on, but like by the time you're at the crackhead story, you're just like, you've had a few nightmare scenes and nothing really spectacularly spooky. And this guy shows up and totally derails the movie and makes it super hilarious and everyone's loving him. And then then we get into the,
This segment is
the
by far the
spooky.
best segment.
Can we shift
James
back?
said-
brought that up.
I did like Alex's a lot, though. I think Alex has like wrapped it all up and explained everything pretty well, and the witch herself,
Bex.
like her mechanics, the
Jesus.
way it works, and everything.
I'm glad you brought up the dream thing. I wanted to ask because I wrote it down. So was the dream thing like a byproduct of the witch's spells or whatever, or was she actively trying to like get in these people's heads?
I think it was a byproduct. I think
That's
it
what
was
I
just
think.
in it. Yeah, like secondhand smoke. I think just because they're around it and you're dealing with it.
So 217, the witch takes over 2 adults and 17 kids.
Yeah.
So that's
as far as the dream
Oh,
sequences
interesting.
goes, they just more felt like an excuse to try and throw horror stuff in there because it's a horror film.
Yeah.
Like they feel very
Leon.
tacked on and add very little.
So it definitely was not tacked on because you
Definitely
have a
not
dream
tacked on.
sequence to show the intersection of the dad, and the reason he even has a dream is because he's sleeping in his son's bedroom.
in the bed.
Right,
And
right.
same
But there's
thing where-
the dream. What I'm saying is the dream scenes are the only scenes until James the Crackhead's moments that have any quote unquote horror in them. And so
Yeah,
what I'm saying is adding
there's
the
also the
horror
house.
Very
there
creepy
would, like, an
pasta.
excuse
There's
to
also when
add the
Justine
horror.
goes to the house.
There's
That's
a
also
reason
there.
for the dream
Yep.
sequence.
Yeah.
I
And what's
didn't
great
say-
is What's great
I
is
didn't
they
say
don't do
there
the
was no
fake
reason
out
for it,
where
Katie.
you know at the very beginning of the
I
scenes
can't even
they're
respond to you
dreaming.
because
Which yeah, I mean,
What's
I
your
did
point?
like how like they don't try to fake you out with like, oh, this is a spooky scene and it's a dream. It's like going into the scenes they're dreams, so it
Yes.
allows you to kind of absorb them differently and have fun with them. The big floating assault rifle, what is that all about? I loved it. I don't
know.
It's like
I wonder-
saying a lot.
He's talking about doing a prequel movie about Gladys, so that would be interesting to see how old she is. Like, because I don't think she's a real aunt or relative of the family. She's just, in a sense, like a parasite. Because we see a lot of parasite.
Is she
things throughout
actually
the movie.
the sister? Is she?
don't
No,
think
I don't
so.
think she is.
No, I don't think
But
so.
I wanted to bring up one scene that really kind of got me both times was watching it that creeped me out a little bit was when Alex's mom cut Julia's hair, Justine's hair.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
we thought that throw you off. I love that because you initially think she's gonna be harmed in some way, but just cuts her hair.
Dude, the theater
that was
started
pretty
freaking
creepy.
out when
That
the
was
car
creepy.
door, when you hear the car door open. you see
car
the
door
shaking
open,
around.
yeah.
But,
Everybody's like, no.
I think Red Letter Media also said like the problem with the cool thing about that scene is like it could have came off as very goofy because the door opens every time the door opens it's just so spooky like in the dark house. But then when she emerges out, she's walking like a drunk woman.
And it's
You
in
know,
shadow.
it
which makes
looks
really
silly,
creepy, too.
but the music, thankfully, I think is what really like. Because my audience was definitely like, oh shit, like it wasn't funny, that could have came off funny, like she's doing a weird zombie walk, but luckily that landed too.
Yeah.
And again, the lighting in this movie is really top notch. The dark scenes
cinematography
are
is amazing in this film.
Yeah. Also,
The
whenever you sleep in your
cinematographer is the same one who did Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Okay.
I was gonna say, whenever you sleep in your car,
I looked it
lock your doors. I do all the time.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Also-
duh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
that's
very
I mean,
well, but she
well, to be-
also
to be
was
fair-
drinking, so she
Yeah,
probably
she was
forgot
drunk.
to
Well,
lock
especially if you're drinking, right? Am I right, blue
Yeah.
collar? Am I
Well, see,
right?
but I keep my car doors open in white neighborhoods.
yeah.
Yikes! Yikes!
There's
Yeah,
also
alright.
like the a lot of the shots with I remember when she's getting knocks on her door and she goes outside. I was sitting next to like 3 little 15-year-old Mexican girls that were just like laughing and goofing off the whole movie, and they
Yeah.
were like, "Shut the door behind you, dumbass!"
See, this
like,
is
"Why
why
are
I'm
you so
glad I watched
stupid?"
it. This is why I'm glad I watched it in 2 matinees where there was only like 2 other people in the theater, because I kept hearing it was going to have all this funny stuff in it. And I think the only reason why people are laughing is the same reason why they would laugh in like a screen, like when it's a crowded theater, that's like infectious. But when you have just like a couple people and it's just them watching, because if you watched it on your own, I bet you probably didn't laugh too much. But I was hearing all these.
There's a lot of
I
solid.
don't know.
there's a
I
lot of
laughed
solid
pretty
jokes,
hard
yeah.
on the
Did you?
on the second
I went to
one.
the movie
Yeah.
theater alone, and our theater, laughed my ass off.
Did you?
You obviously don't have a sense of dark humor.
Oh,
Toxic,
also
you
what was
just don't like
hilarious.
Toxic
So-
doesn't have a. Okay, interesting. That's
Apparently
Kids
not.
next to us, the kids next to me were pretty annoying, but it was all worth it because at the big last jump scare when the witch is in the basement and jumps at Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
That was a great jump scare. But this one
was
kid in
good.
the middle, full-throated girl scream.
Well,
And I remember
actually-
I started laughing so hard and pointing at her like it was great. It's
So
worth it.
so we tone shift to Archer's story. So Archer is a father of one of the missing kids, actually the bully of the kids, in my opinion,
Yeah,
Matthew.
yeah, he
he
was.
he takes the investigation in his own hands, frustrated by the police inaction, which affects not only like himself, but his marriage on top of it too as well. He analyzes footage, and he's the one to discover, which again, I get the cop plot hole, but he's the one to discover the way the kids are running.
Yeah.
X marks the spot.
I don't have I definitely think that was good that they put that in there. He didn't become John Wick. He used his construction knowledge and stuff like that.
My question for the panel is, in the dream sequence that he does have an AR forms in the sky with the numbers, what does that represent to you? What do you think that represents?
I was going to ask you guys. I don't know.
Me too. I have no clue. That was the one thing.
Well, I was going to go down the panel, but go ahead. Open.
Yeah, I don't know.
Katie had a good one. Katie, you texted me. Go ahead.
Katie, save us.
Yeah,
tell
us.
Katie. You and I have had like so many conversations about this. I don't remember.
I could read your text.
Like,
let's see. Hold on.
Oh my God! Just answer. Jeez, why are you keeping us on this?
She said she didn't remember when it was.
If I remember correctly, I just said the kids were weaponized at that time. Like he was just using the AR-15 as like, because everyone assumes like guns or weapons. Like it's
a message to the dad in his dream that his child was weaponized at 217, which is why he left the home.
Yeah.
Now, for me, it's literally an assault rifle. There was an assault weapons ban in 2022 that was voted 217 against 213. I think that's a big part of it. But also, I think physically, I think if you just watch the movie without knowing that, what I think it represents is his internal, because it's Josh Brolin having the dream. So it's his, I think, internal guilt, because it's not just the big floating assault rifle in the sky. It's above his house.
Yeah.
And he goes inside his house and it's empty, it's dark, there's nothing, there's no life or joy in the house. It's something about, his personal guilt trip. I think he's
his
going
own
over.
kid too, though. Maybe what he subconsciously thinks about his own child.
But I think the bigger, maybe his kid was going to grow up to be a school shooter.
Well, I mean, his kid was a bully.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
I initially thought
there is no right answer, which is great. It's cool,
Yeah. I initially thought this was about school shootings because I thought, in a sense, guns don't kill people, people kill people. So utilizing that where Gladys is the person who uses the gun, who is Alex, who represents the gun and the gun shooter who took out his classmates. Because in a sense, the reason his classmates are in there. However,
that's all there. I got that too, and I was glad that they didn't, they actually did something interesting where I thought they were going to do, the teachers actually know best over the parents, but instead it was like, I don't think the teachers should get all the blame for what's going on. That's a big part of it. And then also the flip side of the coin, the witch herself, I was thinking of Drag Queen Story Hour, and you think of liberal Marxist teachers that are very political and stuff, and how that will only backfire on these kids. When you try to weaponize them like they are. That's kind of what I was getting.
You could also think of it as generational issues too, because Gladys could represent boomers, you have your Gen Z and millennials, and then you have the new kids, and how in a sense boomers are kind of sucking the life out of younger generations because
and then
didn't expect you guys to be around this long, in a sense.
Paul, who is a cop, he represents the law, he represents those who help. He ends up becoming full villain and dies. He does not. He's one of the few characters that has full weaponized turn. Him and Marcus, the principal. They're bad until the end. And it's not by their own choice or anything, but.
So Paul and James's stories. Oh, because Han Solo,
because of Ironheart.
Dude, and I loved how they kept showing this glove scene. You're thinking what's in his hand, and you realize what actually happened is so much more. That was a great scene. You really feel freaked out.
When the trailer they show that right after they show a finger being pricked.
Right,
and then they show him staring at his hand in horror. What's up with the fingerprint?
When he got the 3 hypos in the face?
Yeah.
Everyone was like, no. Yeah. And then the whole scene where he's like, "You got AIDS? hepatitis? He's like, I don't know. Should be all right. He's just like nodding his head like angrily, like, okay, all right. Like that got a huge laugh
at that
too.
point, I was super happy that he just died. I was like, bro, I think that's just best for you at this point. Just go on out. Just peace.
I was thinking,
was
like,
too
what's
far
the
gone.
incubation rate of HIV? What if he got it in the thumb, in the finger, and then he had sex with Julia Garner? Is that how it works? It doesn't work that fast, does it? No. Right?
What about
No.
No,
when he
no,
hit
that's-
Exactly.
James real quick, when he got pricked in the finger and then he just
That was dope, dude.
Instant reaction.
Yeah.
That made
Oh,
me laugh
Unbelievable.
when
That's
that
he
happened.
just
Yeah.
like looks at his hand
Yes.
and he just like cold clocks
It was
him right
such
in the
an
chin.
instinctive reaction he
Right.
had. You could understand it too. The guy had lied to him. He said there was nothing
Yeah.
sharp. in his
And you know,
Yeah,
even when like
absolutely.
Toxic said, even when he goes and tells his his intended his boss or whatever, he's like,
Captain.
all right,
Father-in-law.
I understand. If he does file a complaint, you're going to be in trouble. But
If not,
hopefully,
Yeah.
because like he didn't say, hey, he said you fucked up, but he didn't say what you did was wrong. He didn't
Yeah.
say,
Right.
we're going to put you through some.
so,
Yeah, like Leon said,
therapy
I
or
mean,
whatever.
it's not like cops are sitting there breaking their hearts over mollywopping a tweaker. That's not like a big news
No.
day. But I mean, again,
He
if you get
literally
caught-
asked you 3 times, dude, is there anything in your pocket
Right.
that's going to poke me?
But to be fair,
no.
this shows like I like the fact that he does say the line, "I'm not a detective" to Julia Garner's thing, and really, he's not even that good of a cop. I mean, he
Right.
makes 2 horrific mistakes. In
Yeah.
dealing with this
Yeah.
tweaker, it's like anybody. I deal with tweakers on a regular basis, so even like I know, like, dude, you don't let him get that close, and you don't just stick your hands where you can't see. It's so much easier to have them pull the shit out of their pockets and stand at a distance with your
But
gun on them.
it actually works that he has this history with James, because that is why when he hears about it, he doesn't
Right.
call for backup. He's going to go investigate it himself.
Oh,
and
he
he
even
like
sh- yeah,
walks
even-
into the house.
Yeah, he shut the camera off on his on his squad
Stupid. He never
car.
plugs it back in. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then the other
yeah.
thing is, Paul, being this, kind of, that's another great part is when James asks him like, "Hey, I'm gonna get that $50,000, right? You're not gonna take that for yourself." And he doesn't even answer him. You
He
think
just
maybe
looks
he
at him
will?
like,
Yeah.
Dude, are you serious
He-
right now? That tweaker guy is the best performance of a
He
tweaker
was
I've ever
really
seen
good.
on film.
He
I
was
think
the
he's
only-
a
I think
method
there-
actor.
His acting literally steals the show in this movie.
Yeah.
He is
Yeah, he's
He's
so
great.
fucking good.
he's
especially
the lead
when he-
for Resident Evil. He's the lead for Kroger's
Which
Resident
is
he's
not
in that
good.
too?
That's
Oh, I didn't
terrible.
know that.
He's playing Leon.
No, he's
I know.
Zach said he's not doing any characters
I
from
know.
the games.
I
and
That was-
like
it's all an
this
original
actor.
story.
He did great in this movie, but I'm sorry, he should not be the lead in a Resident Evil movie because you need a strong.
tweaking while the
male-
Resident
What if
Evil
what if he's
happened,
gonna what if he
Leon.
goes on the Marvel diet and gets all bulked up and roided out?
I mean, if he does
Uh,
that, then I rescind my. But as it currently stands, he is terrible casting for the.
I only
lead in
want to
a
look at
Resident
hot
But
ripped
he's
dudes
not-
in my movies.
Hold on.
goddamn right.
He's not a casting for any particular character, though. It's an
Yeah,
original
yeah.
character,
Yeah.
so you don't
He's
know.
just some
what-
guy surviving a zombie
Yeah.
apocalypse. Maybe he's a
Uh-huh.
scientist. He can play a scientist.
Yeah.
Put him in
I
a
always
lab
see
coat.
in TV shows and movies, even something like as good quality as Breaking Bad, it's always like they always do it over the top. It's
Yeah.
like with tweakers. It's like, dude, this kid had, like the ability to, he's doing the whole calling a family friend to, try to get some money while
His sister. I think
simultaneously.
he's talking to his sister, and he's saying,
While-
"I'll pay mom back, bro."
Yeah,
you
while
know.
simultaneously checking the car for rando shit that he can pawn, and he's
But
just
that
like
was
because
an
Go ahead.
amazing moment at the pawn shop when he's selling the silverware, and he gets the idea. That was a great laugh, first of all, because look at this poster, $50,000 reward.
Look
seeing
on
all
his
the
face.
kids.
the wheel
And then the
turn.
camera pans back up to the $50,000, and he does the whole mouth open.
Yeah.
And great, but then it smash cuts to him smoking crack, and they're doing the Jaws
Meth.
Spielberg
Meth.
dolly zoom, and then
Yeah.
he's all cracked out on the phone, like, "Yo, man, I saw the kids in the that whole sequence was just like top tier." And then all the way up to the tent. When he sees the witch in the field, that at that point I'm like, all right, it's clearly a witch.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Just this kid in general stole the show, and I don't know. Like I said, he's like the unintentional hero of the movie, even though he's a stupid
What?
crackhead. and-
Whoa.
Yeah.
He dies at
He-
the end of it anyway.
I know, but it's like
He's the hero.
Did
unintentional.
anyone have an
Accidentally
audible gasp
saves the day, and it cracked out.
in their theater? Did anyone have an audible gasp in their theater, like when the kids were revealed?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. My theater was
I
just
don't
an
remember if
absolute
mine
mess.
did.
Are you mean when the tweaker found him pulling the Blair Witch ending?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. When he found them in the basement,
In the
like
basement,
yeah, when
yeah.
he first
when
they
they're
were-
all scared.
They were pulling
what was
it.
it, like,
Yeah, they were doing a Blair Witch. They were doing.
And
they
it's
were
one of
all
those
facing
things
the
where you
wall.
realize. Oh, it's also they all spin around real quick and stare at him. That got a good
Right.
I have a
Yeah.
jump scare. But
Mm.
then
I have a
also you
question.
realize like it's one of those things where it's like, of course they're all in that house, you know? Like why you doubted yourself, you doubted your own hunch. Like, of course this kid has something to do with it. Of course this house is like the center of it all. And then they're all in the basement and it's like, yeah, you could have easily deduced it, but like there's this satisfaction about finding out, how it finds out because it doesn't drop the ball. It actually sticks the landing when it is all revealed.
So,
It's like you're
to
putting
catch
the
up-
pieces together.
to catch up everybody in the chat and watching us on replay. So the first half of the movie, you're told from different point of views of it. Everybody's in a sense having the same day or same time frame.
Yeah.
You eventually realize that it is a witch who is controlling individuals to do crazy stuff. This is like the easiest way I can say it. And she's the reason why kids are missing. Kids end up actually in the basement of Alex's house, who's the one sole survivor in a sense of the kids. He's the only one that wasn't possessed or taken over. My question is, for those that are possessed, Alex has to go through this routine of feeding them soup because
Yeah.
it's the easiest thing to feed them. Does he change adult diapers? Like, what's going on?
I
here?
had that
like what
question.
for days?
I had that question written down as well. I was going to ask. I was
Yeah,
gonna
so
say-
what it-
They probably
Yeah, go
don't
ahead.
relieve themselves through some kind of witchcraft. I don't
But
know.
these
I
are
think it's-
days. No, this is
Right.
days upon days that he's
It was a
doing
month
this.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're
I
stuck
don't-
up with chicken soup.
I can just chalk it up to the same thing as like the unintentional like sex. They talked about that in the movie version of Dreamcatcher. It's like certain things they just don't address in movies, like the eating scenes and if someone has unprotected sex, like the stuff that happens after that, like no one addresses the messy realism of, do people's breasts stink in the morning? Do people actually go poop? Do they say goodbye on the phone? Do people actually
Now-
eat,
My follow-up question to that is with Alex having to do all this for everybody in the household and such, is she sucking the life out of them to heal, or is she sucking the life out of them in a sense to become younger?
She's a
I think it was to
parasite.
try to heal. That's what I
I think kind of both,
gathered.
wasn't it?
Yeah,
When
I
I
don't
was
know
both.
if I don't know if she's literally like maybe she literally has cancer or some kind of illness and she's using it to or if she's like actually like a 500-year-old witch and this is how she stays alive so long. Like I said, you don't really know if she's actually related to Alex's mom. You don't really know what she could just it's all witchcraft, but as far as like what she's doing to them, every time like there's lots of talk about parasites in this movie in like background TV and conversations and teacher lessons, so obviously she's some kind of like parasitic nature where she's
it's a
like
succubus.
I think she's slowly just like milking off them as long as she can, as opposed to like just draining all their life force at once. I
Yeah.
think it's like something about like bleeding them out or milking them slowly, like you're kind
He
of
visibly looks younger in each scene, and
yeah.
her hair grows more.
She's so
then she's-
fantastic, Amy Madigan from Field of Dreams, and like it's only until you see her in every story. I don't think she appears in Paul's story, does she?
No.
No.
Yeah, but she does go. Paul does go. Let's see, I can't remember.
To the
but,
house.
Goes
He
to the
takes
house.
the tweak.
with the
Yeah.
tweaker. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's only until Marcus's story that we actually meet this character. We've seen
Yes.
her in like nightmarish visions, so we know when she first shows up, it's a big deal. And like her performance is so, because you could tell like, she is feeling better from the kids, And there's that great moment, especially rewatching it, when she goes to Marcus's house, and that's very like, we're going to show you that she's a witch. We're going to show you how she operates. We're not going to tell you anything. But what was so great is like her performance was so fantastic when she like asked for the bowl. I want a bowl of water. And he's like, a bowl. He's like, yeah, it's
And they
a
just
peculiarity.
accommodated
So
her.
nonchalant.
It's a peculiarity I have. I don't even bother to rationalize it. And she does this little like bounce,
yeah.
like this little jumpy. And she was just saying how like, oh, I'm coughing. I'm gonna collapse. I'm so tired. You find out, and then at the end of the scene, her car is like right there, or excuse me, the dad's car, the van is like she drove there. She's just obviously just
Manipulative.
lying and happy about it, and she's so chipperly evil. But yeah, when she first shows up to the house, like you see her from the upstairs room, and she's very frail, and she's got like a shawl over her. You barely see her. She looks like a little hunchback, and she's pointing at the father to pull the precious plant. That's like one of her only belongings. She has like a suitcase and this plant. And of course, like the plant is like, the center of everything,
It's where she gets her branches, I think, for the
right.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like again, like they show you the ribbons and then they show you the ribbon later. It's like it's very like I said, just masterfully told with like little dialogue, little actual exposition, verbal exposition, which I thought was really great. Like you put the pieces together yourself, and there's little questions here and there, but for the most part, I think everyone's like understanding the mechanics of it all.
One thing I didn't understand about her is that if she's so worried about blowing her cover, and she was so careful in so many ways, and this applies to another character I'll get to later, but this one in particular. She's so careful, and yet she does things to draw attention to herself that don't make a lot of sense. So she's frail and sick, but she gets some juice from the parents. But then when the kids are gone, she's savvy enough to know that the cops are going to come investigate, that she's going to have to do this or that. And thank you for pulling the slide up. That's actually perfect for what I'm going to say. Then she like does this Ronald McDonald long legs type persona on when she really didn't, like the way she was sitting, because it's like, and I know some people have said, like, well, she was sick, so she's going to powder on some makeup and put on a wig. Well, it actually would have worked better had she's been telling the cops, sorry, I have the cancer. And they would have had more sympathy for her, because the way she looked when she sat at the table after she drew. Okay,
she has to be. She has to be the forefront for Alex. She has to be somebody that nobody's going to be suspicious that she cannot take care of Alex.
Yeah,
because the whole
that.
Yeah, so
right, cool.
so
Push
she
back
has
to your
to be
pushback.
put together.
Cool. Pushback to your pushback. When she goes in to see Marcus, and when she's his afternoon appointment after Julia Garner convinces him, you got to at least make a run at this. The assistant is looking at her in this persona, and it is clearly, she's like, are you sure you want me to leave you alone with this? Like this.
Well, because she doesn't look like anybody from their little small town. She is
looks crazy also
of the abnormal, but
that
she cannot.
proves my point.
She cannot, but just being looking abnormal doesn't mean she's not senile. But presents herself. She's able to be talk very well. She's able to like put a story together. She has to be the forefront. If she comes off crazy, other than what she looks like, if she comes off crazy, people are going to be more suspicious and investigate what's going on in the house more so.
Let me.
And I've seen old ladies who look like this. Who
again,
I
think a central core element of the movie is the police dropping the ball. They say it at the very beginning.
Yeah.
They covered it up because they were embarrassed at how badly they handled this situation.
Well, that's the umbrella defense. You can't just say, I'm going to address the fact that the cops are incompetent by saying they're incompetent, and then therefore, A plus B equals C.
What if that is the core message of the movie, though?
It's not.
She was there with Alex when the cops were investigating them too, as well.
Yes,
so
she was.
She probably could have done a spell or eased their mind. Like there's a ton of stuff that's left on the table.
Her spells don't work that. Her spells don't work that way. She doesn't.
Okay. I understand. Okay, listen. I understand it doesn't work like that. I'm just saying there's a lot of things that could be. What if this? What if that? What if this? That's the whole point of being an audience member, to kind of use your imagination to fill in the gaps. Yeah. If he laid this entire movie down, every plot hole, and corrected everything, this movie would be fucking boring as shit. This movie would be boring. If this was logically
I don't want to explore a what if. I want to talk about what is. And what is that at one point, after she's feeling better and she's not as feeble as Enzo pointed out, and she's gotten some, I guess, life force energy, whatever you want to call it, from mom and dad, and she's strong enough to not only control them, but she's strong enough to, pull the power play with Alex, who's obviously a pretty switched on little kid. Kudos to them for getting a great child actor. I want to reiterate that because Institute. But anyway, when she's in that position, she looks certainly not well, but she looks healthier. The long legs persona that she puts on later on makes her, it draws more attention. You have to think about, like, when you're committing a crime, you don't want to draw attention to yourself. You want to draw as little attention. And if she had showed up in that little, like, I don't know what they call it, that little head wrap thing that she had, just looking
Turban.
subdued and things like that, then I think that would have played a lot better for what she was trying to accomplish than this wild, over the top persona.
Wouldn't she be less suspicious if she was in the spotlight? Like, to me,
No.
the whole point of her doing this is so that the cops are like, okay, she's just a crazy old aunt that's taking care of Alex while the parents are around. That's fine.
Well, there's also the situation that a lot of times, and it does demonstrate this a little bit, like when she goes to Marcus's house, that people will put up with a lot and not do or question anything.
Yeah.
They're in a very small town. Like, no one wants to be rude to her. They clearly are looking at her like she's
people
crazy.
will know, right?
That
People
was-
will know something's off, but that
I
doesn't mean they're going
also-
to step in and do anything or question outwardly.
Another
Especially
really
when
funny
they
part.
have this bigger problem that they have to deal with.
Yeah, I don't know. Leon, are you going to back me up on this at all or no?
I just think that the problem is just focusing on this one, plot point.
This is a different aspect. This is her. This is her. What she's doing.
To back up Lord Toxic, I actually do agree with the majority of what he said. There's one thing I disagree with, but I actually agree with the vast majority of what he said. The only issue I have with your argument was you said I don't want to talk about what ifs, and I want to talk about what is. And this some of this movie does very well, but it also is frustrating when doing an analysis like this. And that this movie does a great job of show don't tell, let you come up with your own interpretations, figure it out for yourself. Sometimes that is the movie's detriment because we have to discuss what ifs because we don't have
I'm
concrete
guessing
answers. Beyond
like,
that, I do agree with Toxic.
I'm guessing the reason. I mean, I don't disagree that she should have been more covert. She should have been laying low, but I guess it's in her nature to be loud and flaunt her power, and she's in denial.
Okay,
I will buy
like
that.
she was-
broads like this that didn't have witchcraft. So
I feel like if she was hiding, and fragile, I mean, she might be more suspicious. First of all, they would be like, she's not competent to take care of this kid. Somebody needs to go in there and help with this kid if the parents aren't around. So, like, her being over the top and out there and loud and stuff just shows that she's somebody that can actually watch Alex.
Eccentric, like, she's like. At no point did they set the foundation that she was of sound mind. She's clearly a crazy person.
They don't think she's a suspect though because she seems like just some crazy old lady, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I think
also,
it's
where do you draw the line, especially in a small town? I grew up in a small town with incompetent cops. I fucking ran away and was gone for 3 months before they finally fucking caught me. Like, so yeah, the idea of her being crazy versus her being eccentric. I mean, there's a blurry line there to incompetent adults.
Agreed. Something that was so funny in the movie was when Marcus meets her for the first time in this scene, and he's like, "Have we met before?" She's like, "No, I don't believe so." He's like, "Okay," because I felt I would have remembered.
Well, I thought that was maybe because
I
thought that was maybe because she's permeated everybody's nightmares, and that maybe she popped up in Marcus's nightmare.
Could have been that
as
too.
well.
That's why I thought it was. Like, that's why he has that. Yeah, I thought that line was in there.
I thought it was a comment like, "You look so ridiculous. There's no way I would have not known you." I think he's
Don't
still
I know
a
you
good
from a
Christian.
drag show?
He meets so many people. He meets so many parents.
Right.
Exactly. He meets so many people. He meets so many parents. He's like, there's no way that I've forgotten this face, right? We haven't met before, right? That's what that was.
I thought that was a pretty clever way to say it.
I think he tries hard to know everybody and stuff because he is a gay principal or whatever. So in a small town, he's probably looked upon as well. I get it, it's 2025, but we're looking at this world.
And
so he's probably tries to remember everybody's name and be on top of everything because people are looking at him.
And I think Marcus's story is probably one of the most tragic, because he makes it all the way to principal.
Yeah, that awesome charcuterie board was destroyed. That was like white trash charcuterie board.
Oh yeah, he's just hot dogs and carrots and stuff.
The hot dogs was a tribute to Zach Rutger's friend Trevor.
Yeah, also
it was a gay joke because gay dudes eating hot dogs.
Also, the movie was released on August
Maybe
7th,
you,
which is
Leon.
when Trevor Moore passed away, drunkenly fell off his roof.
Yeah,
I think he was unalived. But I guess the only thing that I have a problem with is the fact that right before I saw the movie, like an hour before I saw the movie, somebody somewhere, and I should have done like you did, Nadia. I should have buffered myself against potential spoilerage or whatever you want to call it. I didn't do that because I don't know how, number one. And I just was like, okay, I'm just going to go into this blind, and somehow that picture the slide you just had up, minus the the weapons title or whatever, somewhere that popped up somewhere in my social media, and I go, oh, there you go. She's a witch, and that's the bad guy, and then that's it.
I was
soon as that
analyzing
popped
the
up-
trailer like kind of frame by frame at points, and I definitely remember that woman popping
that's
up.
That's
and I'm
why I
like,
stay away
that's a
from
f-
trailers.
Yeah, that's a
No,
freaky witch.
no. The trailers were brilliant. The trailers, and I said this on another stream. The trailers are they should be the blueprint of what all movies should do, just giving you enough to make you interested. But I don't think they gave anything away.
No.
in the
I mean,
trailer.
not only were the trailers brilliant, but like it was done to such a masterful, precision that this has been my most anticipated movie for the entirety of 2025,
And
which is
the movie.
Not Anaconda. Not Anaconda. Come on, man.
I'm excited for Anaconda.
sorry, it don't want none unless you got buns, hon.
Well, the other thing about this movie's promotional stuff is, like, I think even if you did know that it's about witches and witchcraft, I don't think that's going to be a spoiler enough to where it's gonna take away from the enjoyment of the film.
It might spoil because I think you can piece together if it's witches, then you automatically know, okay, something's going on.
You know
with
the
kid.
answer to the mystery. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rachel, you had a question.
Yes, it was about the makeup, the horror makeup. I wanted to know if you could, I don't mean to put you on the spot, touch upon maybe how they did this, what this might look like, or how to put the layering on. The bulging eyes. I mean, running
I'm
through
pretty
the
sure
street.
the
First of all,
bulging
Rachel,
eyes
put
is
her on the
computer.
spot. She needs to earn her keep on YouTube. Come on now, put her on the spot.
The bulging eyes, I don't know because
I'm pretty sure that's computer bulging eyes,
that's
but
probably
everything else.
It could be computer eyes. It could be they have like special contacts that you could pop in that are like. So I've talked about these contacts before. So think this is your eye. The contact, you know how normal contacts kind of lay right here. These like are full caps that go completely around the eyes. I've had to put those on.
And they're
quite a few
super
people.
fucking painful to wear.
They are
I can
painful.
imagine.
And trying to put them into people's eyes, on
Which
top
is why
of it. So
I'm thinking there's probably a computer, because actors
It's
these days, they don't
yeah.
suffer for the art like they used to. No, but especially when Paul has his bulging eyes, like that was pretty intense looking. I was
It's
trying to
probably
think of
CGI.
who he reminded me of, like
That's
what
CGI.
what cartoon
CGI.
character he reminded me of with his bulging eyes when he was in Kill Mode.
do you remember the lady in the 90s that was known for like bulging her eyes out and
yeah.
back? I don't know if
There's a
in
bunch of people that
90s
could do
kids
that.
stuff.
There's
Yeah.
a bunch of people
Well,
that
she
could do
was
the
like
eye bulge.
really well known. It was a black lady that like could
She
put
was
her
well
eyes
known
out
because I think
fully
she
and
had the
stuff.
Guinness Book of World
Yeah.
Records for how
Yeah, I
far her
remember
eyes
her.
could stick out. Her eyes could
But-
literally like yeah.
A good point
Man,
to the
first
makeup
person
though.
I thought it was Miss Cleo.
I thought it was weird. I think it's Marcus here who throws up on his partner, like the black goo you see, but we don't
Yeah.
see that again at all. Nobody
That
else
was
does
another
it.
question.
Well,
What
to
did
be
you
fair, that
remind-
had nothing to do with the witchcraft. That was
What's up,
because of his
Corey?
homo ass cooking.
Yeah, it was his diet. It was
Yeah.
Corey.
Marcus suffers from severe stomach
Oh, hey,
ulcers.
Corey. But that's the only time somebody has done that in the entire movie. And then
Yeah.
the smashing of his partner's head, that's practical effects. That's really easy to
Which
feel
they
and
should
stuff.
have shown more of. Like, I know this movie doesn't need to be like inherently gory or whatnot. That wouldn't have made it like scarier, but you could tell they put a lot of work into the makeup effects for that. So they should have gone all
I
in
would have
was,
liked to see
They
that.
should have shown that.
Crap.
I was
I
reminded
agree
of
with Leon.
Head
They
down.
should have shown that more so than showing his head after he gets in the car when the car hits him and stuff.
yeah. I was
If they
more
really wanted to.
I was thinking of the fire extinguisher scene in Irreversible. Like
Ooh.
it was pretty hardcore.
What, on that note, Corey
Whoa.
is joining us. What's up, Corey? How are you?
Hello. I'm just
What did you
very,
think?
very late. So
What did you think of the movie? You just saw it, right?
Sunday.
And
Yep,
then,
so-
did you like it? Didn't like it?
I don't know. What did everybody else say so far?
You tell
Don't-
us.
What does it
what
matter?
you think.
tell us.
What does it matter what
Yeah,
we
Like
think?
Corey.
80-20.
Don't let them
Um,
start speaking again.
Yeah.
Don't hate me, but I'm not as high on this movie as everybody
Oh,
else
thank
Alright.
God,
seems to
someone
be.
else besides me.
So I'm moving you
Who-
next to
Who else said
Leon.
that? Who said that?
Leon.
All right, all right, all right.
I don't think we've ever streamed together, by the way. So this is a great first time.
Hey, hey.
Corey, Leon,
mean-
Leon, Corey.
Yep, there we go. I figured I was going to be way outnumbered on that one, but I'm not saying it was
Technically, you
horrible.
still are.
No, yeah, but
Did you go in with too high of an expectation, maybe? Because there was a lot of hype around this.
It was a lot of hype, even in our
Yeah.
chat. Yeah.
Was your
I-
problem the tone or the plot or
yeah.
I
What
don't-
was it?
I don't know. It's hard to put a finger on it. Maybe it would be the plot of it. I don't mind that it was a slow burn. I can handle that if the payoff's good. But I almost was like laughing at the end for the payoff.
A lot of people were. I think that was the point, though.
Okay,
you know?
but I was like, am I at a horror movie or a comedy? Or like,
I think he's trying to say it was a little ridiculous at the end for him. I think.
Yeah. Like it just was like, but I mean, I got a good laugh.
We can
out
talk
of
spoilers.
it.
You're fine. We're in
sorry.
spoiler territory.
Sorry if I went too far.
No, you're fine.
No,
No,
we're
we
talking
are in
spoilers.
spoiler territory,
Okay.
so you don't have to hold back.
So I did get a kick out of it, but I was laughing, and I was like, by the time I was done with it, I was like, okay, well that wasn't scary, but
Well, that's a question for the panel. Is this movie a horror movie? Considered a horror
Yes.
movie?
I think it's a horror. It's a good horror comedy, supernatural thriller, mystery. I mean, just the
got
fact that
slivers of
it's.
comedy,
I thought because it's funny at the end and has this like kind of satisfying, happy ending told in a comic way, that doesn't take away from like a lot of the more scary scenes that are happening earlier in the movie. The movie had a good roller coaster of emotions going on here, which I thought was good.
I wouldn't say supernatural. I would say horror thriller. I don't think. I don't know if I categorize witches under supernatural.
You think
Anyway.
witches?
Supernatural
they got the mystical. They got the mystical.
Supernatural is literally
Yeah.
anything that is not natural. Magic powers aren't of.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
supernatural.
What do you know that we don't, Rachel? What do you-
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the
This is
secret, and I'd have to kill you.
Yeah, right.
So did you get? Sorry,
ahead,
I don't mean to hijack.
No, you're fine.
Because I just
No,
like
you're
coming
fine.
in here. and
Everybody
just-
else is. It's okay.
All right. But did you get into anything at all about the Brolin's dream, the dad's
Yes.
dream, the
Yeah,
vision?
what did you think
Yeah.
about it?
I was curious because I was hearing some different things from other people, and I didn't know. So at first, I was like, "What the heck?" Because there's the assault rifle or whatever, you know what I'm talking about, above the house.
Yeah, the AR.
And then it had the 217 on there, and then some people were bringing out that there was the Senate vote to ban assault rifles.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there was 217 yes, and then it didn't. Or wait, it was passed in the House but didn't pass in the Senate, or vice versa. I'm ignorant about that stuff. But there was 217 votes, and people were theorizing because at first I was sitting there and I'm like, why is there a gun hovering above the house?
Initially, I thought this movie was about school shootings.
That's what that's kind of what I took.
Alex
from it,
is the
too.
school shooter in a sense.
Yeah,
Kids are the
and
victims.
he came into the classroom.
Yeah.
And
The whole concept of guns don't kill people, people kill people, that whole thing. However, doing some research, listening to some interviews, and watching some other YouTubers that I trust, I've come to the conclusion it's about alcoholism. But this movie could be interpreted in many different ways. Yeah,
I was taking it as
Krieger wrote it for his friend who fell off the second story of his house, who had an issue with alcoholism.
Allegedly.
Wasn't it
So this is
217
allegedly.
that he died? Yeah.
I think his birthday is like
His-
217.
His
Okay,
birthday is
yeah.
August 7th or his death day was August 7th when the movie
7th.
came out.
Yeah,
So,
and he passed
yeah.
away around the time of 2:30 a.m.
2:17.
So yeah.
Yeah. So he wrote it as tribute to his friend who had an issue with alcoholism. I can see the themes of alcoholism throughout the movie. However, you can
Ooh.
interpret this movie differently.
I know what happened. Zach Krieger sacrificed his buddy Trevor Moore to the devil
217.
so he could get famous, just like the Red Hot Chili Peppers did with Red Hot River Phoenix. So
Yeah.
blood, sex, sugar, magic would be it
Just
all
like
makes
Puff-
sense.
Just like
Okay.
Puff Daddy did to Biggie
Confirmed. Illuminati confirmed.
Confirmed.
Don't come allegedly YouTube.
I'm
But yeah,
joking. I'm joking.
I'm not.
I think you
YouTube
could
doesn't even talk about conspiracy theories anymore.
I know. We haven't heard from Katie much either. What's up, Katie?
What do you want me to talk about? Which topic are we going into?
Probably
We're
the
on
movie,
Marcus
I'd
now.
imagine.
Yeah, we're on Marcus now. What did you think of Marcus's point of view? Story.
He was amazing. I thought his point of view was cool. I thought he actually was the only good person in the film.
Yeah, he
That's
was
why
the only
his
one
shit-
without
his-
baggage.
He had
Yes,
the most
which is-
tragedy with him, you know?
Yeah, he was the only good person because we were going back and forth about like
Besides
different
Alex.
characters. What?
Besides Alex, the boy.
Well, I wasn't talking about the kids. They don't have any baggage. Like they're children.
But Alex literally has his own arc, like a chapter for him, and he is a good person.
All right.
But I was talking about the adults. But yeah, but we were going back and forth about the characters and whether or not you guys should sympathize with Julia Gardner. Like, I think the issues, they're all selfish. Like, through each step where you see their points of view, they're all acting out of their own selfishness, which is why they miss stuff constantly. And so, Julia Gardner, by the way, definitely knew he was in AA and that he had an issue with alcoholism, because when the wife attacks her in the alcohol store, she literally says, "You knew," and she was like, "You had sex with him, you got him drunk, and you knew." And she's throwing alcohol on her during that argument. So she knew he went to AA. She had no problem.
I'll buy that. I'll buy that.
And so, like, she is a bad person. But I think the whole point is all of these characters are bad people because they're real people. There are people who live their lives and are they're all flawed. But they're all super selfish, which is why you're seeing the different points of view to show throughout the entire movie. They could have easily solved the case from the very beginning if they would have just all worked together instead of trying to point out everyone and blaming other people and dealing with their own personal issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's because it's a bit of realism to a movie that has to kind of stand on supernatural elements in a sense. Like if witches really did exist, not saying they don't come at me.
They do.
Yeah. I've got today.
2 words, Lady Gaga.
Please don't put curses on me. And
2 words, Taylor Swift.
I went through that whole Hot Topic phase. Please don't do it. I respect religions, whatever. Anyway, in a sense, if not saying, or maybe if witches could do this in real life, where they could just put your hair on a piece of twig and blood and make you do stuff. It's a little bit realistic. Like there's a little bit of realism added into this because of how flawed everybody is. Everybody is not black and white. There's not a perfect character on this. I mean, even though Marcus is the purest one, like you're saying, he still probably has a little bit of baggage because he was reluctant to help Justine when she was like, this kid needs like somebody needs to go to his house. And he's like, that's not what I do. I don't do house calls and stuff like that. So everybody's not perfect in this entire, which I like the most about it. There's realism to it. Go ahead, Katie. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, because even Marcus probably issues that he overlooks things constantly because he's trying to, like, Justine clearly shouldn't be working at that school if she got fired from her last school because of the relationship she had with someone, and then having a DUI. You technically shouldn't work at that school. They clearly are he gives people chances. Even when the crazy witch comes to his house, he clearly is like standoffish. He can tell she looks off, especially when the receptionist brings her into his office. Like he sees her face. It's obvious everyone knows this lady's weird, but he's trying to be polite. And it's like he's constantly trying to be too polite rather than doing the right thing, which is why like Justine's going and doing what she just wants, even though he told her like, hey, you're not supposed to do that. And she gets go ahead.
I was just going to agree really quick because there was the scene too where he's in the grocery store and that phone call with Justine, and he's just like, I'm going to do you a favor and forget that we had this call. She could have been suspended or fired for bringing up some of the things. And
what's cool about that scene though is when we first hear it on Justine's end, it just kind of ends after, hey, I'm going to let you forget this call. I'm going to do the grace by forgetting this call. But then when we see it in the grocery store, we find out that he actually does agree to meet with his parents, Alex's parents.
Well, she kind of forced his hand, though, is the thing.
Right.
Like,
so again, it's like another crucial thing that causes the whole mystery to unravel.
Sure.
I'm
going to push back a little bit on the he's a good person or whatever. I think he's an automaton, like most people in administrative jobs. Like he's just there to just keep the machine running and doesn't want to cause waves or anything like that. I don't think he really had anything invested in getting these kids back. Didn't seem to really particularly bother him in any way. I'll also point out the fact that, the real him is eating 7 hot dogs and carrots and ranch and cookies and watching his trash TV show with his husband and stuff and wearing matching Mickey Mouse shirts, which was dope as fuck, by the way. But the front that he puts on for the school people, he makes sure he wears that like really, hey, this is a really sharp suit that I'm wearing with the bow tie. Clearly I'm gay, but also clearly I'm well dressed. And, his assistant is nothing but, a wave of the hand. Like, look, Maureen, just send her in. Like I'm busy doing things right now. Like he had that kind of arrogance about him. I don't think he was as great as a person. I mean, I don't think he was certainly a bad, and to be fair, I like flawed characters. A really good, excellent character is kind of boring. I want to see people with flaws that have regular problems. But
I think his big flaw is that he's naive, a little too lenient. It's like that movie, the original Danish version, just got remade.
Speak No Evil.
Yeah, you
That
gotta.
remake
That's
is
what I was
dog
thinking
shit.
about. Yeah.
If you let him take an inch, if you give him an inch, they'll take a mile type thing.
Which Justine does multiple times in this movie because she's a terrible fucking person.
Here we go again.
I was just thinking. I just rewatched not too long ago the remake of the Woman with the Dragon Tattoo, and there's the part in there too where Daniel Craig's character gets at the end where he's like, what was this line that he put? He's like, they'll look over the possible fear of pain because they're so worried about like offending somebody,
Right.
like that is like a bigger thing. So they didn't want to offend somebody. He's like, I didn't force you in here, kind of a thing. You came on your own free will. And
no,
it's also
I thought
interesting
that was
that
very
Marcus
well.
Marcus tries to tell her, hey, this isn't a good deal, but his husband intervenes. Is like, no,
And I
come
like
on,
that.
Of course we'll get you water.
I thought that was very realistic. I thought all of the
Yes.
interactions with all of the people, even though we're in a fantastical supernatural witch world, I thought all of the interactions that people had with other people were so good. This is why I'm willing to give it a 9, and why I'm willing to forgive all the major stuff me and Leon shot it down with, is just because the acting with each other is so well done. All of the stuff seems like you're just like sitting a bar stool away or sitting a few feet away and just listening in on a conversation you have no right to listen in on. I thought all of the stuff that the people said to each other, and with one glaring exception at the end, everybody makes the best choices, the most intelligent choices that they can given their circumstance. Like you said, Marcus is trying to tell the lady, this is not a good time, this is not appropriate for you to come in. He's seeing all the red flags, but the husband is just like, why are you being a monster? Let's help this helpless old lady. And I'm sure that's what she was banking on.
Yeah. Sure.
Moral of the story: never help old people. Fuck them.
I don't know, Toxic. I don't see this as a 9 or a 10. Like a 9 or a 10 is like almost nearly perfect film, and there are some flaws. I'm not saying this is a bad film. Again, I give it an 8. I think it's right around like a 7 or 8. I don't think it's a bad film. I think people should go see this in the theaters. I think they should avoid all spoilers if they can at this point and go see it. But a 9 or a 10, that's like, to me, a 9 or a 10 is like Alien or The Thing.
Alien
or,
is a
if we're talking
Gone
about,
with the
if we're
even
talking
Gone
about,
with the Wind.
Or
Like,
Velocipastor.
if we're talking about witch movies, like specifically witchcraft movies, like this is.
I don't even think in
top
on
tier.
a witchcraft movie. I think The Witches is better than this movie if we're talking. Witch
no
movies.
way, no way.
If we're talking
The Witches
witch
is
movies,
classic and it's great.
Here's the thing.
I would tie this with The Witches almost. Like this is this is a good
the
one,
reason
man.
feels
This is a
like
good
it's in
witchcraft
their
movie.
world. Yeah.
The reason
it's
why
like the real sequel.
I give it the score that I give it is just
Well,
because
before you do that, I have a question. What did you give Sinners?
I gave Sinners.
Oh
a
yeah,
9
was
as
Sinners
well.
better than this? Did you like Sinners,
Sinners
more or
better
less?
than this?
Only slightly because it's vampires and guns.
Oh, okay.
And if you're going for the holy, what did you call it one time, Enzo? The as far as monsters, witches, werewolves, vampires, and something else. Like, what did you call that? Like that is it the Holy Trinity of monsters?
I'm just
Unholy
looking at
Trinity,
this-
I'm guessing. I don't know what I would call that.
I'm looking at this. I'm not looking
that
at this
me?
as a witch film. I'm just looking at it as a movie in general. You gave both Sinners and Weapons the same score. Which is the better movie, though, in your opinion?
I mean, I guess I go with Sinners just because when I rewatched Sinners, it was better. When I rewatched Weapons, it got slightly worse. Just for the stuff, you know what I mean? Like I guess I'm more forgiving of Sinners because it's it's so From Dusk Till Dawnish meets Devil in a Blue Dress outlandish world.
And this is a problem, not necessarily with you, Toxic, but just getting panels together discussing films. Is so many different folks have different metrics on how they score films. For example, when it comes to an enjoyment factor, I enjoy Return of the Jedi far more than Empire. But objectively, when you look at what makes a good film,
that's fair.
Empire's the better movie.
That's
and
okay.
I think that when we have these sorts of discussions, it's important to say, okay, are we talking about personal preference and why we like this movie? So we give it, an 8 out of 10 on the I like factor, versus if we look at this as something we can objectively measure. How's the shot composition? How is the writing? How is the acting? That's to me, that's why this film gets a 5, because it does so many technical things right, but does so many technical things wrong. Even if there are enjoyment factors to it and things I like or things I dislike on a subjective level, at the objective, the measurable, it is kind of just a mediocre film.
Well, I mean, that's certainly fair. And I understand the nature of your question, Nadia. Can we put a pin in it and you ask me when we do our top 5 of 2025 or whatever at the end of the year? Can I answer it then?
And I'm just curious because when somebody gives a movie a 9, I feel like 9s and 10 and granted, this is from my worldview, this is my own thing. 9s and 10s are rares to give out when it comes to movies, especially in the last 10, 20 years, I think. And I just feel like a 9 is very strong contender for this movie. Again, I like this movie. This is definitely in my top 5 for 2025 next to World of Worlds. But I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, Katie.
Hard to argue with that.
It's definitely in my top, but I think Bring Her Back is a better movie on a lot of different levels. And I think
I like this a lot more than Bring Her Back.
I enjoyed more viewing. But I like the storytelling aspect more in Bring Her Back, like how they unraveled the story.
It's really difficult once you become one of us. One of the YouTube, you'll always content creator, whatever you want to call it, from whatever background you happen to be, whether you be a writer, a screenwriter, a comic book guy, a makeup artist, whatever your background happens to be. Now that we are in this, you'll always start to look at these things through these lenses, and it becomes one of those situations where it becomes.
No, I think you were entirely correct. When I went into Freakier Friday today, I grew up watching.
You were kidding. Until just this moment, I thought you were kidding. Actually, until
no. So me and my little sister used to love Freaky Friday growing up. So I wanted to take my kid, just her and I, father daughter stuff, to see it. For that nostalgia, I would also do something together. And I went in, I was like, turn content creator brain off, or you're probably gonna hate this movie. And when I came out, I was like, yep, that was fine. I enjoyed my time with it. And so you when you do this for a living, or not even for a living, when you do it for passion, whatever it may be, you do need to, for certain stuff, turn content creator brain off. And this is a movie that I was looking forward to on a personal level. I said it was my most hyped movie of the year. So I went into Sinners with content creation brain off, because I wasn't going to talk about it on at least not on my show. I wasn't going to do a video on or whatnot, unless my panelists wanted to. And so I could probably tear Freaky Friday, for example, apart if I want to do a content creator brain. But I think it's really important to separate when you're doing it for review purposes or whatnot versus I just want I want the escapism right now.
Yeah, I get it. I think it's easier for me to do that with stuff I stream than when I go to the theater. When I go to the theater, especially with the intention of doing a review, kudos to you if you can do that. I have a really hard time shutting the content creator thing off. Maybe I'll get better with it. Again, I haven't been doing this as long as most of you guys. So, maybe I'm just not that good at it yet, separating that kind of stuff. But again, I realize that 9 is a really high score, but to be fair, some of it's your fault, Nadia, that it got such a high score, because you had me watch The Institute with horrible child actors. And then we got then we get this kid, Laurence Olivier.
Palate cleanser.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand your point of view of shutting your brain off when especially if you're a content creator and you have to talk about these on multiple panels and you got to break down in your own opinion. I can turn off my content creator brain easily, super easily. Like Deadpool and Wolverine. I thought that movie was so enjoyable. A lot of people point.
Agreed.
But if you look at it from a technical level, there are a ton of issues with it. But still, but for me, I worked in the industry for 13 years. So like I can't turn off that part of my brain when I'm looking at movies, especially when it's a genre that I worked in personally. So like I'm looking at this movie even with my background in it, and prospectively, it's a good movie. Granted, again, it's going to be in my top 5. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed it on the rewatch. I'm excited to see where Cregger's career goes from this point. I loved Barbarian. I know you didn't like it, Sin. But I can also understand that this movie is not a 9 or a 10 in my book, because there's problems with it. I checked my watch a couple of times because the pacing needed to pick up in certain aspects.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I really loved it, but I thought it dragged a little bit. And I get it. It's a slow burn, maybe because we all don't have attention spans like we used to. I just feel like a 9 or a 10 should be given out to those rarities. Such, again, like Alien is like a prime example of, I think, a 9 or a 10 out of 10 movie. Anyway, I digress. We're almost at the 2-hour mark. I want to talk about Alex, because Alex, I think, is the heart of the movie. His story arc definitely felt the most heart-wrenching. Like I literally was like, oh my God, to imagine having a child. So Gladys, everybody knows, witch shows up claiming to be an aunt of the family. I know some people are like, maybe she is an aunt and stuff. I don't really think so. I think she's just a parasite that just picked a random family that was able to kind of talk her way in, or she's a distant relative too. They're talking about doing a prequel about her, so I'm sure we'll learn more. So once Alex's parents are, in a sense, hypnotized by Gladys, taken over by Gladys, it is that scene everybody was freaking out about it in the trailer where somebody was stabbing themselves in the fork. His parents do that. That was a tense scene, because Gladys in that scene is explaining to Alex, like, I can make them hurt each other. I can make them hurt themselves. I can make them eat each other. Yeah. And
that
this
was
is a 9-year-old.
terrifying. Poor kid.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Gladys shows up at the halfway point, basically at the end of the second act. And then after that, pretty much the second half of the movie is Alex's story. And then the third act, the final act, is basically resolving the story when, like I said, Cloud City, all the story points converge at the end. And I thought that was great structurally, because the first half, really, you say it drags, but it's like
it's a slow
burn. It goes by pretty quickly.
Yeah, I wasn't.
On rewatch,
it
makes sense.
Right.
Rewatching it didn't drag for me because I'm able to see the pinpoints, the little Easter eggs, like
Bigger
Gladys
picture.
in the corner and this stuff. So being the
Dude,
bigger
I
picture.
geeked out so hard when James was like, "Oh, Willow, nice." I was like,
That was funny. See, that's why I like when a creator is like one of us that makes a movie like this, because they do those little things that they know that people like us are going to be like, oh yeah, I get it. Yeah,
the flip side of that coin, though, is most people get into filmmaking because they like movies. The problem is when the writer, director love movies and they reference movies, and like all the characters love movies and everyone's referencing movies.
Sure.
Everyone's talking like they watch movies. Like you said, Nick, nobody's talking naturalistically. Everyone's talking like it's a movie.
I don't think this movie suffers from that, though.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Also, this kid, I just can't gush enough about this kid. On the second rewatch, I liked his performance so much better, especially at the end when he's like trying to I don't want to say gaslight, but he's trying to like work with her as if to be like, can I get you some water? Do you want to go to the hospital? Do you want me to do something that will get you out of this fucking house and away from me? And my, he was so good because he's like, you can see he's scared, but he's also like, having been a kid who had to kind of negotiate with monsters growing up, my mom and dad, and just be like, listen, I just broke my ankle. Is there any way I can get one of you guys to call me a cab because I'm 10 and I need to go to the hospital to get this broken ankle dealt with. So you have to kind of negotiate with monsters that are in charge of your life and you're just a little kid. I like the fact that he splashed the water on the dad's face immediately knowing that something's rotten in Denmark. I also like the parents were like, I hate when it's cookie cutter, just bland, but the parents seem like really loving. Hey, X-Man, did you find any supermodels today? Like, I think the dad kind of knows his kid's a bit of a nerd and getting picked on, and he immediately ego boosts him when he picks him up from school, which he doesn't have to. He could just let him ride the bus.
That was a really, like, all the interactions between Alex and his father were really heartwarming in the it felt like a good father-son relationship.
I know. I wish I would have had
I think
that.
the actor that
if
was
we-
doing it is because he's actually a musician before being an actor. I don't think his acting was very strong. Like, when he's like, "So how was school, buddy?" Like it felt really forced, but the heart was still there, so I still enjoyed it. But the acting itself, I thought was not good.
Before we continue, Niet, fair enough, Leon. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, even when they're wrong. Niet,
Exactly.
I remember what you scored the Wolfman. I'm just saying.
The new one?
I think
Not the new
The new
one.
one.
even
The
if
new
we- I do like the idea, like if we interpret the movie that, you know, school shooting, Alex is like a school shooter, and the idea that like the parents go into this like vegetative state afterwards, you know, like I don't
Never
know,
come
like
out.
the-
Even
I
all the
don't know.
kids. At the ending of the movie, it stated that only a couple kids started talking again.
So
And
like,
I
yeah,
think it's
Which, by the way,
metaphorically-
let's talk about this. Is a cheat in the narrative because the opening narration says they never came back.
Right, exactly.
That's what I was
Yep.
going to ask.
I think-
Yeah.
I think
Yep.
what they're meaning is metaphorically or literally in the plot, like they're never really all there. You know, they talk about how
which
Yeah, you
would be
could take it
fine,
that
but
way.
Even the ending narration says some of them are even started talking again, implying the others eventually will as well. So
Well,
it's
some
just
of them
a-
even started talking this year, implying it's been who knows how
Well,
long.
Since I
No,
happen
it's
to
not that
know,
long.
Spoil the
It's 2
movie
years.
right
It says
at the
1 or 2 years
beginning.
later. I don't remember which one.
Oh,
but
okay.
it
Well, then
literally
there's
says
also
Yeah.
there's also the idea that you know, when the parents come out of it, he says, "Hey, they're still being fed somewhere, but not by Alex." You know, implying they're probably in some kind of home or hospital or something. They're not.
right.
He
You're
destroyed
not.
them.
They're
She
not.
destroyed them.
Yeah, and again, metaphorically, I was talking about how like if we're to interpret the whole school shooting angle, yeah, the idea that like the parents, you know, like riddled with guilt and trauma, you know, becoming like zombies, basically. I think there's something there to analyze and kind of
So-
interpret, pull out of there.
Rick asked a question. When the parents started forking themselves, did you try to guess if the son would go to the mom or the dad first?
Clearly, the dad. He clearly had
Clearly
a
the-
bond
yeah.
with the dad.
The
Yeah.
establishment. Yeah. Yeah.
Plus, you could also
Plus, he's
you could also
speeding-
head,
He was also sitting closest to
He's
his dad,
closest to the
wasn't it?
dad.
True.
Yeah.
but you could also
Who's
head canon that if there was a situation, the kid is smart enough to realize that dad would probably deal with it. I mean,
Right.
Right.
obviously, he didn't know that it was a witch situation, or maybe didn't quite comprehend it, but he'd get
Bring
the
it,
dad.
Niet. Bring it, man. Bring it.
Niet,
I'm not
Don't
afraid.
watch, don't watch the beginning of this stream. 'Cause
Yeah,
you'll have
yeah.
real
No,
listeners
never mind.
getting
Stop
out of
dating.
it. Like-
Gave a Wolfman. I gave that movie a 2, and one of the ratings because I saw it was for free. Got receipts. Bring it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, man.
Uh,
Yeah, if you liked Wolfman, you're not. I can't really. I don't think there's any defense.
Nah.
Like, you
Yeah,
just
I
love it
didn't
fucking a
hate
lot.
Wolfman. I'm gonna
Uh,
out myself.
Oh,
It's okay. Hold on, Bison. Anyway, mods, if you can drop Niet's link in the comments, if you could, possibly anybody would be appreciative. Blue brings up a good point too. Like this kid is going through. Like he's got a. Where is it? Sorry, Blue.
he's feeding
Feed
19
19
people every
people,
fucking
yeah.
day
Yeah.
for 30 fucking days straight. On top of they're all pissing and shitting themselves, so they're starting
Well,
to stink after 2 to 3
I mean,
weeks.
Like I said, due to witchcraft, it could be, you know, you don't necessarily
Constipation.
know. He could be splitting one can of soup amongst everyone. They just need a little bit of sustenance to stay alive. They're not going to the bathroom. Who
Yeah,
knows?
but then that
Who
falls
knows?
into
It's
that
magic.
whole let me help you write your movie bullshit, where it's just like, you know, there's a fine line between let me make an intuitive leap, the, you know, blah blah blah.
I
to
think
let-
also, metaphorically, I think the whole feeding all the kids is like, let's say it's a school shooter, or you know, Alex either is the shooter or the sole survivor of the shooting. It's like carrying the guilt, the weight of the guilt of like
Yeah,
Thank you,
surviving
I
or
could see
whatever.
that. Yeah, sure, I can see
think
that.
that's- I think that's what is they're trying to say with the feeding of the soup.
What was that?
Leon,
What?
go ahead. What?
Nothing. It was a terrible.
Leah?
Never mind.
It's a boner
Leon.
joke.
Leon.
Leon's getting yelled at more than me. In this game.
Before we get into final thoughts about this, does anybody have any additional questions for the panel about any of the plot holes or character? Any questions on it
I do.
before we get into it? What?
I was what? I would. You know, Archer, Josh Brolin is so smart throughout this whole movie, and then at the very end, in the third act, when it's time to go clutch, he completely brain dumps. He was so smart. He's already seen that Marcus is was put in thrall. In fact, it was his thing to point out to Justine, like, look, I've seen this before. They're in some sort of thrall. He knows that. And then they pull up on the house where they were pretty sure that the kids are at, where the cop is there and nothing's going, red flags all over the place. And then he's like, then all of a sudden, after he's been so smart through the whole movie, he becomes a dedunt. And then he's like, oh, maybe we should just go walk in the house and see if everything's okay. It's
no, it gets, it's
But I
even
mean-
worse than that, Toxic, because not only is that true about fucking Archer's character, but in the span of the same 10 minutes, Julia Gardner becomes a fucking superhero. You're Alden Ehrenreich, whatever
She's the
homie's name
Silver
is.
Surfer.
Paul.
Yeah.
What?
Paul.
Paul,
She's
yeah,
the Silver
Paul
Surfer.
is choking her. We've seen how a grown-ass, fit, strong dude that works construction could barely deal with the overweight, out-of-shape fucking school
Marcus.
principal when he's all roided out. But the fit cop is fucking tangling with this 120-pound woman, and she's taking it, and she gets the dub.
Sure.
Like, she becomes a
Agreed.
superhero for the last
Agreed.
fucking 10 minutes of
Well,
the film, who
But
takes
a
no
dumb
damage.
one because
Well,
she drops.
I think a
a
big-
dumb one because she drops the gun. She uses the. If there's ever a situation in which you need to hold on to the freaking pistol, it's this situation, and she dumps
To-
him and then puts the
He
gun.
would
on
have snapped her like a
To push back on Toxic's thing about Archer, Archer's a desperate parent. He's a
Yes.
desperate parent. He's gonna
But
walk
he's
into
been-
anywhere. He's
doesn't
gonna
have
walk.
that influence
If
in
he,
him.
Even
his
so,
kid is
desperate
in
parent,
that
he's been
building,
smart
going to
this
run in there.
whole time in the
Yeah,
movie.
but he
Desperation.
feels like he's very
Like,
close to answers
Close-
now.
he's gonna
So
go.
yeah,
Like, what's? I mean, if he calls for help, they're like what minutes away. Something could be happening in the house. He doesn't know.
Yeah,
No.
Dead or
Even
alive?
it's been a month at this point. A
Yeah.
couple more minutes ain't gonna make too much of a fucking difference. And B, it still undermines his character that he has been the intelligent one this
But he's
entire
also the-
time just to become
parent
retarded
grieving.
for a like, exciting climax. No,
Well,
that
I
is
I
bad
think
right.
Leon, he's in a sense grieving because he doesn't know if his kid is coming back. So people do crazy shit.
Why,
when
he
they're
has it this
grieving.
whole
It doesn't
time,
matter.
and yet he
It
flipped
doesn't
the
matter
smart one.
because he's
yes,
investigation.
he has. I
mode.
mean, he went and stalked Julia Garner, painted
Yeah.
stuff on her car. He was
Yeah.
doing stupid shit before. So
The thing about
I tell you what, if that was one of my kids, I'd probably do stupid things I wouldn't do in my normal state of mind
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
You know, if I
And
if I
also-
thought there was a chance of getting my son or my daughter back,
right, and the idea
I'd
is like
probably-
you could call for backup, but the fact that it is a police officer who's a zombie, I think it's another thing where our blind trust of law enforcement is another thing that's at play here. And then there's
No, why
also
would
this.
you- The
go
police
ahead.
was already there. They
No,
see
exactly.
the police car,
Right.
and so,
So
why
that's
would
what
they?
I'm saying. You wouldn't
Why-
exactly. That's why you wouldn't call for more backup
Yeah.
if that was like a
because
you
doesn't he
trust
go to
in
the
your
door
house.
and like wave him in?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And she,
like,
and she, Julia
Yeah,
Garner,
Nothing
And
weird about
recognizes him.
that. Yeah,
I know
totally.
who that is.
And
She-
she,
oh, that-
yeah,
yeah,
that's Paul.
Yeah.
It's Paul. So they go inside the house. I don't understand what any of that's stupid.
And I think this is like kind of like this movie can also be interpreted as like pro gun ownership because like a lot of the problems of this movie could have been solved if they just had a gun, and in fact they do save the day because of a gun. And that was one of the best parts too. Paul gets shot in the neck and he doesn't even blink.
Keeps
you know, his
going.
eye, it's
That was
so
dope.
amazing.
No, that was dope as fuck. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it was so
good.
cool.
I
But
do
look,
agree
hey
with you,
guys,
though.
just on a health nut, because I do care about all of you. Please make sure after the stream to just drink a lot of water and do some stretching, because all these mental gymnastics you're doing to justify bad plot stuff is you're gonna pull something. So
All
Yeah.
right, that's enough of that.
I think the
I,
big
I
problem.
don't drink water.
The big problem. I think a big
I do
problem
agree
with
with Leon about
Aut-
Julia Garner being able to take Paul makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like she should have easily been dead.
No, that makes
from the
sense.
beginning.
That makes sense. But a desperate parent, I'm like, I just okay.
To be fair,
yeah, and
I-
as soon as he walks in the house, he knows something's wrong, and he sees the
Yeah.
salt, and he's like, "Wait,
and
don't!"
he
But
even
it's already
tells
too
her
late.
wait.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
say,
Yeah.
to be fair,
There's
I don't
something wrong.
drink water because I'm not a pussy. Like
I think the other thing is a big problem. A big problem with autism running rampant in this YouTube movie critic sphere is autists tend to only seem to see the literal plot in movies.
I'm not
And
autistic.
I know. I'm pretty sure we're all a little autistic on this
We're
panel,
all,
but
I'm
we're all
not.
content
not.
creators.
I'm
We're
just
all a little.
depressed.
but
spectrum,
severe autism tends to like, yeah, it seems to only be like the focus is the
I
literal
will
plot,
grant you. Okay,
the
I will
literal-
grant you the
the
fact that
box office.
me personally, from my obvious experiences, I would err with more caution. But again, I was rooting for Thanos through the whole movie. I'm like, man, this guy is making some even though he was grieving, even though shown he was sloppy at work, even though he did something really petty to Julia Garner, which was really dumb and petty. But again, I could be like, yeah, I could kind of see it. I was like, man, he is really on point with this stuff. And they didn't turn him into John Wick. He doesn't like do ninja moves against Marcus. He like dive tackles him into the freaking cooler and cuts himself up, and he gets hurt, and and all that. So I was like really rooting for him through this. And at that end, I was like almost yelling at the screen, like, dude, don't just walk in there. Please come up with a better plan. Don't just meander into that thing. And then of course they do. And I get it. It's a movie. But
by the way, this dude was,
if you didn't know what was going on in the background with the witches and everything, and the fact that he's possessed, why wouldn't you walk in the house? There's a police officer that just told you to come in.
I think I've already said why.
The only thing, what would have made the movie a lot better?
Fate is there. That'll make things better.
What would have made it all better and less scary is if he was like, all right, let's go in the house. And he opens the glove box and pulls out like a huge revolver and he gives Julia
The dude is in a small, what seems to be Midwestern town, or at least a small, closed off town, very, very, in the woods.
I got the vibe they were in the Pacific Northwest.
He's a man's man. He probably got some fucking blickies. So yeah, that actually.
I did like how this town was like any town,
I like Katie's point of view of this. It makes sense that he would go in. First of all, Paul is waving them in. Julia, Justine's character knows Paul.
him. Yeah.
They're working to Archer and Justine are working together, so he's going to follow her anyway. He's a desperate parent. I'll tell you right now, even in my 30s, my dad would, if I was something going on with me, my dad would break down walls. Like he would not. And my dad is a very logical person, so like also I would just assume like.
I'm not in a position to tell any of you that you are wrong. It's totally fine. I'm not stuck on this. It is what it is. It's just something that I wrote down in my notebook. I get it. I get where all you guys are coming from, and you're more than likely. I get it. Like people don't just walk around like me in a rigid state of apprehensive, PTSD all the time, or like Leon in super. I guess I can't say autistic because you got mad at me before, but super.
I didn't know they got mad at you. I told you to keep doing
Toxic,
it.
You're like laying into Leon this
They
entire
got mad at you.
That's our thing. Listen, that's our thing. It's all good.
Do you have a thing for Leon? Like, what's going on?
A little.
Why are we grading these characters on what we would do when you're not the character?
But
they
just
they've set it up for the fact that he clearly is not yes, he's competent in the fact that he used things that his construction knowledge to figure out where the kids are. He watched cameras. He got to the house. He lives in this small town. They even showed that he kept going to the police to ask them what was going on to get updates.
Yeah.
So he clearly trusts them.
Rick says in the chat that you see the cops there. You're thinking, oh, maybe they beat us to the punch. Maybe they solved the mystery. Also, the other thing is
maybe that's there.
Right, maybe Josh Brolin does have a gun, and he's like, "I'm not going to bring my gun because that's a fucking
because
cop."
there's a cop there. Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Maybe all of these. Listen, I'm not willing to say that anybody is wrong. All of these things sound perfectly reasonable. They're perfectly valid. Katie makes some great points.
My point is, why are you going from your point of view and not the character that was written for the movie?
Okay, I'm glad you asked that.
You've said multiple times that we're going based off of what's in the movie and not our own personal preferences.
Well, that's not exactly what I said. I said you have to go with what is, not what ifs. I think that part of isn't, maybe I'm wrong, but isn't part of the movie going experience, and especially a horror movie going, I wouldn't do that. Or, isn't that how we always do it with horror movies? Like, could I survive the zombie apocalypse? Could I survive the alien
you can
invasion?
personally say you think it's stupid, but you can't then say it's a detriment to the film because it made sense in the film because that's the character that they wrote.
Right.
It's not a detriment to the film enough. Right. It's not a detriment.
You can't say that it's wrong that makes perfect sense. It's not a plot hole.
We typically will say things like,
I would disagree with that, Katie. Just because it's the character they wrote. Now I don't disagree in whole for this film, but like as a general thought on that, just because it's the character they wrote, how often do we complain about bad writing and characters? So it's like we
this
can
wasn't bad writing though.
This makes sense given his situation. His child was missing. His child was missing. We've never had a missing child.
I would say I could see that.
I've literally gone through a missing child, and that's why I have issues with the way Josh Brolin handles it at the end because he's so competent.
To be fair, Boston, that's the way you handle it, though.
Yeah,
based off your experience. The
luckily,
character itself, that's the reason why they showed all of his mistakes with the paint, the construction, not ordering things,
Sure.
showing that he's not perfect at this, and he's
I'll buy
a
that.
desperate father. He's sleeping in his kid's bedroom.
That's
So,
what I
of course-
exactly what I
yeah,
was
He's
going
not a
with.
good parent.
So of course, like even if the cop wasn't there, I still would think it would be in character
Right.
if he's like, if my kid's in that house, I'm going in.
I'm
it
going
doesn't
in.
matter.
Yeah,
I'm going
exactly.
I hear
I
you.
can even
Listen,
understand more your point if the cop wasn't there. If
That's
he would
why- yeah.
hesitate to be like, why would I?
That's
maybe
why-
we should figure out something else first.
I think that's
But
why the
cop
witch
was-
sent him out.
Maybe we
The
should
witch
call the
sent the
cops.
cop out
Let-
there to
Oh,
Let
literally
her
for
finish.
sure. Oh,
let her
yeah,
finish
for
her.
sure.
Let her finish her thought. Let her finish her thought. Go ahead, Katie.
No, I'm saying, I would agree with you if the cop wasn't there. Then I would question, okay, that doesn't make sense. Like, why would he just be gung ho to go into his house? He doesn't know who's in the house. He doesn't know for sure his kid is even there. But the police are there. There is a police officer. He waves them in and asks them, and then Jesse knows the police officer. It's like there's levels of stuff to like you would lower your guard and be like, okay, let's go in his house. And then on top of that, they add the fact that he even sees the salt on the ground and he tells Justine to wait. And then she'd already stepped over and they're fucked.
No, that was
Something
good.
fishy.
And again, that's one of those things where I still scored it so high because even my problems with it, they at least attempt, and most times they do address it. Like I totally agree with you and Nadia that the salt thing, and he did catch it at the last second, and it's just one of those things where it was just a little too late and stuff like that. He didn't, I get it. Like, again, it's just one of those things I wrote down as I was watching it the second time. And I'm like, please don't go in that house. Like, come on, guys, come up with a better plan. Do
that's
something
like
different.
part of the joy of watching most horror movies. It's like, what are you doing? Ah!
Sure.
But yeah, what I loved about it, also the salt, it's like, don't cry. The witch tells Alex, don't step over the salt. Why not?
Yeah.
She doesn't tell you. They show you later why you shouldn't step over the salt.
No, that
You
was
know? It's
great.
like-
That's an old witch. I mean, if anyone who's watched witch movies, supernatural, yada yada.
See, I thought witches couldn't cross the salt path, so you would circle your house with salt or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever iteration you happen to be.
Yeah, I don't. That's
Different stuff.
like the rules were a little confusing.
Well, that's why it's cool.
Final thoughts on the movie, Leon? Go first.
Yeah, so again, I think there's a lot of stuff that on a technical level this film does brilliantly. I mean, the shots are mostly great. It's a very well acted movie. I think that the story is unique in an age of remakes and reboots, stuff to that effect. I also sort of have the inkling though that, let's say this movie came out in 94, one of the best years in cinema history, where we had just banger after banger after banger. Would this film stick out then? And I mean, I don't think it would. I don't think it would be lost to time or forgotten. I think this movie would sort of be one of those like movies we remember fondly, but it's no Pulp Fiction, it's no Forrest Gump, things like that. I don't think it would be put at the same table as those. And so when we're talking about film as a whole, it's hard for folks, I think, to not let recency bias affect them. So all in all, I do think there are flaws with the character writing. I mean, especially the character of Justine. I get that she's, broken. I get that she's flawed. A flawed character doesn't inherently make a good or interesting character or a character worth following if they're not handled properly. Again, when you get to the end and the film effectively treats her like a hero, even though she is a bad person, there is no real redemption for her. It's an interesting. The mystery's great. I like the idea of showing all the different perspectives and the different angles as it cuts from chapter to chapter. I do think at times it goes on. It's a little long. Like, it doesn't need to show every single detail from the other person's point of view when there's minimal, if any, changes. I don't even really remember the sound design or soundtrack for this film. That's kind of a mark against it technically. As someone who's trained and ex-professional musician, like, that's something that really matters in film, at least for me, is how does the score work? How does the sound design work? And I shouldn't say the sound design, this was good, but the score was very forgettable. And the jump scares that were there, which there weren't very many, are very telegraphed. And I didn't jump once at this film. That doesn't mean that other people won't find it scary or whatnot, but it's the actual jump scare mechanisms they use are very by the book, basic, and didn't hit me once. So where there's so much originality in every other aspect of the film, that the actual horror part, there's a lot more horror than just that, but like certain traditional aspects of horror are kind of lacking. So yeah, I stand by the 5 out of 10 for this movie.
Okay, Corey.
Well, thank you for letting me join very, very late. So I appreciate
Always.
that jumping in. But I'm right there with Leon. I'll say that right there. I'd say probably 5 out of 10 for me as well too. I did, and that's not saying it's horrible. That's still, in my book, a movie worth watching. So I'm not throwing shade at it at all. But acting was good. I really liked the following each character and how they crossed over, and you saw a different angle of a different perspective of what was going on. I like that. When Leon was talking about the sound design, I will tell you that was one of the fullest theaters I've been in a long time when I was watching that movie. For my small area, that was a kind of a big deal. Like, I hadn't seen that many people in the theater for a long time, and they were dead silent through that movie. Like, so I think that really showed how intense, like how good of storytelling they did. So like I said, not trashing on it, but man, they were doing something right, because people were drawn into it. They were paying attention, and some of that tense, slow burn moments, like people were just dead silent and like listening along. And that's one thing that kind of shook me, because I've been in a lot theaters with a lot less people in it, and it was a lot louder in there, people talking, doing this and that. And so you could tell people were paying attention, and it had them hooked in. So that's a good thing.
You should watch World.
Oh,
World of the
don't
Wars.
even. Don't even.
Battle of the Planets.
World of the Worlds. Battle of the Planets. You'll be locked in too, Corey. Katie, final thoughts.
You just threw me with your stupid War of the Worlds comment. I hate you so much. Stop bringing up that movie. Oh my gosh. Weapons. No. So that's the thing. I completely understand why people are saying they didn't like it as much as they thought they were going to, especially from the horror aspect. But as a film, it is a phenomenally made film. The cinematography, the score, the different point of view storytelling, the amount of showing and not telling, like, it is amazing. Like, it's especially something that we have not seen often, because there are so many poorly written and poorly made films that make it to theaters. And this was a perfect example of something that is worth your time watching.
I would agree. By the way, as someone that gave it a 5 out of 10, I completely agree with Katie. I do think everyone should see this, see it in theaters if you can, because even with my thoughts on it being just a mid movie, it's a worthwhile movie.
Yes. And I'll say too, like with my rating, saying 5 out of 10, everybody's kind of thinks about it a little bit different. To me, that's still a solid movie. Like, in my mind, like if I said 5 out of 10, I'm just not saying it's like Jaws or The Godfather or something like that, but I'm saying it's just, I agree completely with you. It's worth watching. And I just feel like I'm missing something, because I wish I was more on board with it, but I would definitely encourage people to see it. Plus, it's a unique, original movie.
Story.
And go support it. You know, let's get more of these in the theater.
100%. And I can understand if the dark humor threw some people, because there was different points where it was clearly filmed and set up for you to laugh. And so I can understand why people might have been thrown out of that, especially if they're expecting it to be scarier. But at the end of the day, it's phenomenally made, and it's captivating. It goes deeper into like the backgrounds of each character. You're getting tons of subtext throughout the entire film. So, and then it also leaves it so open. And to Leon's point, I actually think this film is going to be talked about for years, because there's going to be people who are going to delve into like different aspects that we were arguing about tonight. Like, what does it actually mean? Whether it's actually about alcoholism, is it about school shootings? What it like breaking down different scenes of like, why did they film it or shoot it this way? Even when like the cops running after the junkie, like there's certain things that were done that were set up so that you would question it afterwards, so that it would be talked about. So yeah.
And I would say the casting was excellent in this.
Yes. And I'm actually so happy that they recasted, because otherwise it would have been, I don't think, I would not have liked this if Pedro Pascal had been.
Pedro would have ruined this entire film. This would have been a 2, not a 5.
Wait, what? He was going to be.
He was the original Josh Brolin everybody
character.
In this movie
no.
was everybody in this movie was recast except for the tweaker.
Yeah, and it would have.
Oh, for real? I didn't realize. I didn't know that.
I got you.
I'm glad he wasn't. I'm glad he was not in there. But
Brolin did a great job with it.
Brolin was fantastic.
Julia.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have hated the movie if Pedro were in there. He hasn't reached that level for me yet, but I'm super glad that he wasn't.
So
It's
it
not even
was
that much.
It's not about him personally. I don't think he would be able to deliver the lines that Josh Brolin did with that amount of emphasis and depth and conviction, with like him being so upset about his child and then like forcing his way into the other parent's house, like stuff like that. I just think it would have been completely different.
Yeah, the entire cast was recasted, except for Austin Abrams right there. Yeah, because of the strike and all the.
Oh, what about
and
Amy Madigan?
Uh,
I guess
great.
she was. Was she not recast then? Maybe.
No, I don't think so.
hope
I
not.
think they kept
Okay.
her on the DL and stuff.
Okay.
Katie, do you have any additional anything? Okay, never mind. Rachel.
Yeah, just to go along with what some people have already said, this is a unique original horror story. They are going to be talking about it for years. I think they are going to be talking about the 3 original horror films of 2025 and what a great horror year film it was for it. Sorry, I got to pull up my notes. Some of my standouts, I loved Carrie Christopher as Alex, that little boy. I can't wait to see him in more things. I'm glad Alden redeemed himself. My favorite, the non-linear style of directing, where they tell the stories in the vignettes or backwards, or a la Prestige or Memento or anything like that. I absolutely loved that. I loved the horror effects. Some of my favorite moments, his reaction when he found the kids early, Josh Brolin screaming, "What the fuck?" and absolutely my absolute favorite, the end. My theater was absolutely howling. They were cackling when the kids were chasing Gladys. It was one of my
Talk about
favorite.
the ending. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about. They were laughing so hard in my theater. I honestly thought that half of them were just like
Same.
joking around laughing, but no, we were dying laughing. We were loving it. And it was, I heard people talking on the way out. It was fantastic. So yes, I absolutely can't wait to see this movie again with my boyfriend. It's gonna be a blast.
I was talking about how quiet the theater was for me, but everything up until that last part, and people were laughing through that whole thing because they
I
were
feel
like,
like-
"What the heck?"
I feel like if you've seen Barbarian, the ending kind of fits to Kreger's kind
Yeah.
of style and stuff, so kind of works for it. Sin, final thoughts?
Oh, I didn't find Barbarian as comedic as this movie.
You don't have dark humor like me.
Well, I just didn't see the humor in it. Maybe because it had already lost the plot by a certain point, and I was just so over it. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this movie. It redeemed his filmmaking for me, and though I realize there are some potential issues with it, when I go back and rewatch it on Sunday, I'm going to pay attention to some of the things that were brought up and see if I come away with that same perception about it, or if I still have the appreciation for it that I did, and like that those things don't bother me. Love the acting, like has already been mentioned. That child, I specifically mentioned him in my review because he was a standout. I was super, super impressed. I like Julia Garner's acting, and she's not an actor that bothers me or anything. Really love Josh Brolin, but then I love him in pretty much everything. I like the chapterized storytelling. I like seeing how everything came together and how eventually it kind of reminded me a little bit of that weird way that they told the story in The Life of Chuck. I know you don't like it, but like how they took its time to kind of I know, but I mentioned that actually, how that way that they constructed the storytelling reminded me of that, and I really liked it. I did not mind that it was more than 2 hours long. I wasn't bored at all. So yeah, I'm looking forward to a rewatch and curious to see if anything changes for me after that.
Life of Chuck, I wanted my life back. But thank you, Sin.
Stop it! I like that one. Come on.
Same.
Of course you did, Corey.
A
Of
beautiful
course
movie.
you
Of course
did.
I did. What is that supposed to
Of course
mean?
you did.
Naughty.
After I walked
movie.
out of that movie, I was like, I want my life back.
You walked out and was like, "This is an effing movie." Corey would like, "Oh god,
Corey, that rat bastard.
No,
rat
my-
bastard, Corey."
My exact words was like,
That's my nickname, by the way. In case
It's
everybody,
a-
this is the first
it's an
time meeting me.
inside joke.
Nope, that's my nickname.
Flanagan should stick to horror. That is my statement after Life of Chuck.
Aw.
Enzo, what do you got? Final thoughts.
Well, we talked about how
Leon.
just as a literal witch movie, it's top tier. It's got great directing, great cinematography. I love the soundtrack with Harry Nilsson and George Harrison at the beginning, and then the actual score itself with the horror stings and stuff. It had this cool like synth vibe that I liked. But yeah, as far as like the story itself, it's this great mystery that keeps you enthralled, and it's got some great comedic moments for levity, and it's got some heart to it. It's got a great, satisfying ending that's funny. It's got some thrills and chills and spills. But I think like the bigger picture is like there's deeper meaning here with this movie. There's a lot to be said and interpreted based on the viewer. Like for instance, talking about how Julia Garner's character doesn't really have a character arc or whatever. I mean, she basically clears her own name, solving the mystery, finding the kids, but by doing so, she kills Paul, which could be a metaphor for like getting this alcoholic back on the sauce, ruining his marriage. I mean, metaphorically killing the guy, ruining his life. I don't know. There's just a lot. It's like one of these things where you can take any scene and just like you can scratch the surface and dig deeper and find, something else there, which is cool. It's always fun with movies when they are deeper and have these layers. And even on the surface, when it's just a silly, fun, witchcraft movie, and yeah, Ava, what's her name? Amy Madigan, Madison, whatever, Field of Dreams.
Madigan.
Fantastic performance. Everyone had a great performance in this. And yeah, like here's a little anecdote. Here's why we know the movie was good. When the movie ended, I parked in the front and center of the parking lot waiting for the movie. The movie previous showing lets out. People are walking out of the theater. First thing I see, it's like a handful of these black kids, teenagers. They're all doing the Naruto run in the parking lot to their car. Like they all, that's what I was like. I was like, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. I feel like this is gonna be good. If the kids are liking it, if the kids are liking it, they were entertained, at least. And yeah, so was I. I loved it.
It'll be easy Halloween. Just dress normal and run around with your
Run
eyes
around,
out.
yeah.
No, I'll go as the crazy witch lady. Get a
Well,
wig
yeah,
and
that'd
Ronald
be
McDonald makeup.
Blue, final thoughts?
As I said earlier, horror is the hardest genre to do original because yes, witches aren't a new trope, but again, how many zombies, vampire, werewolves, fucking satanic demons and possession we've seen a billion times over. I like at least the originality premise of it, and like to what Leanne said earlier, yes, there are some flaws with it, but in terms of like the originality, I give it some leeway, but also like take The Sixth Sense, for example. As I said before, the first and second acts are considered kind of boring. When people think The Sixth Sense, you think about one thing, the third act. The third act, as I said before, we either make or break this film for you. I also like the fact, as I said before, the marketing was fantastic, and everybody here, whether you liked the film or didn't like the film, everybody had a good time watching it, and I respect all opinions. As much as, let's say, Liam would say a 5 out of 10, I've seen people from I've been on Talk with Critical Drinker, he liked it. Hills vs. Babyface said favorite film of the year. I can see why some people would say this film is a 9 out of 10, or also a 4 or 5 out of 10. And yes, Leona, I do favor Justine because she's drinking vodka, sleeping in her car, and
Here we go.
And she's a whore. So I love Justine. I want to marry her. So that's points right there. But,
Blue, I know you don't think very highly of yourself, but even you can do better.
Blue collar, you should
I
grow
really
the
can't.
Paul mustache. Just grow a mustache like Paul.
You should do the Paul
Yeah.
mustache, Blue.
But yeah,
sure.
and yeah, I was never scared during the film. But at this point, I mean, my son's mother, I know true terror, so nothing scares me anymore. This is more of a thriller than a horror film for me.
Yeah, I didn't find it particularly scary, but
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
But I do like the fact that, like, say what you want, 2.5 hours, 9 fucking people, 8 people on a panel talking about this film. Nobody here actively hated this film, unlike She-Hulk or Captain America 4 or fucking like whatever, Superman even. So I'm glad everyone, at least even with a 5, had a good time watching it, because that's a lot to say in 2025.
Yeah. Toxic?
I mean, I know I spent a good amount of time dunking on some of the realism, but I mean, that speaks more about me than it does about the film. I mean, not everybody is an ex-cop, not everybody's an ex-soldier and is going to look at things a certain way. And I realize that not everybody's a content creator and going to look at it. But I mean, again, I would point out the fact that I gave it a 9. I gave it a 9 for a reason. I thought the dialogue was great. I'm glad Enzo pointed it out. The soundtrack was amazing. I actually was kind of creeped out in a lot of scenes, and I'm glad I watched it with not a full audience, because I had heard there was going to be like all this funny stuff, like people were going to laugh unexpectedly. And I was like, ooh, I don't like that thought. That didn't really happen. I'm actually kind of curious to go see this maybe one more time with like a packed house and see if that's different. There was a big laugh in the theater, but it was because of me, because I said when she walked into the liquor store the first night, I said she's a vodka drinker. She's gonna pick vodka.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't realize how loud I said it, and some of the people heard me. And then when she grabbed the vodka bottle, everybody started laughing, and I was like, "Sorry, my bad." But I just I just love all the performances from everybody. I mean, even the ancillary characters put in a powerhouse performance, and I thought the whole thing was just really creepy. It's not what I expected, and it just for something in 2025 to give me something fresh and unexpected makes me happy. So again, I'm grading it on that scale too. I guess, I wouldn't pit this against like The Exorcist as far as that goes. So I guess maybe I
don't know if your experience will be the same. Because you say you want to go back when you've got like a full theater. All the laughs and whatnot that come from the audience did actually hurt my my viewing of it. Not saying it might, but like it did hurt my viewing of the film.
Sure, it might very much. I mean, I kind of find that annoying sometimes, and then sometimes I don't. It just really depends on what mood I'm. But since I've already seen the movie and I already know what's going on, and I've already gone through the whole we've done our review, maybe I could enjoy it more if I'm just sitting there watching it just for fun. And to be fair, there's right now until The Long Walk comes out, there's really nothing coming out that I'm super stoked about it. But I really love this movie, and I can't say enough good things. I probably love it for different reasons, but who cares? I still loved it. So
mine just real quick. Mine was a packed house, and like I said, it was dead silent until that ending, and then that's when the laughs came.
See, I didn't think that was funny at all.
Well, but people were laughing, whether it was hilarious or nervous laugh or whatever. But
it felt like a tension reliever.
It was intentionally
scary.
comedic, and
you know what it made me think of? It made me think of that meme or whatever, where it's like, dudes, like how many third graders do you think you could take on or whatever? And then that completely changed the landscape. Like, I'm not so sure anymore. I used to think I could take out like 30. Now I'm like thinking like 10 or 15.
Also kind of commenting on how kids can be very vicious. And like I said, my main takeaway from the movie was weaponizing children is bad. It will backfire and blow up in your face. That was like the main takeaway I took from that movie, which I thought was cool.
You hear that, Catholic Church?
Yeah.
Jesus. Leon, why do I have you on? That's because I love you. That's why. My final thoughts of it is, while I think it's definitely a very good put together movie, and I scored it pretty high. It's an 8 in my opinion for it. I love the storytelling. I'm a fan of Barbarian, so leading into it, I knew what I was getting into with Kreger. I like that the trailers didn't show you anything, and it was very unexpected. Granted, when you're watching the movie, there are story beats that even before you know Gladys is part of the story, it kind of puts together that something occulty or witchy is coming, and then it gets it. But I love the trailers that didn't do that. That being said, there are some plot hole issues with it. I don't think it is going to be the movie of the year for horror. That goes to War of the Worlds. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my God.
I had a bit. We still have other movies to get through. We've got Witchboard. We've got The Conjuring. We've got him. We've got
Toxic Avenger.
Is that werewolf movie coming out this year by Eggers? Isn't it supposed to come out?
No, that's next year.
Oh no.
I thought it was this year.
We've got
Dramatica looks interesting.
Black Phone 2. There's going to be a couple surprises down the road. So
no one else mentioning Good Boy. Only me. Come on now.
Good Boy is over as well. But that being said, I don't think this is a strong year for horror. I don't think 2025 is a strong year. I think 2024 and 2023 were stronger years for horror if you look at the movies that came out during that time. I think this is actually the weakest year so far out of the continuance of the 3 years. But we're only halfway through the year. You had a jingle for me, Rachel? Ref Web for $2. Go ahead.
Okay. They promised us the magic, but it all feels fake. We're going to cancel Disney Plus for fuck's sake.
That
was good.
Great delivery.
Everybody, too, you should go see this movie in theaters. Do not wait for streaming for this. Go experience it in theaters.
Agreed.
If you can pay a little extra for like VFX or like Dolby, go for it because the sound quality and the mixing is perfect in this movie almost. So highly recommend you see it in theaters. Even go see it in the $5 whatever.
Yeah, the
I would say
experience
even-
of the theater matters. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Even for films that are like, again, whether I consider that mid, like again, any movie where you can sit and have a 2.5-hour conversation, still not really come away with either a consensus or a clear answer to what the fucking movie's about, because we've all got different theories and whatnot. That's a movie that needs to be seen in theaters, not for the quality of the film, but for the communal experience of being with other people.
Yep.
Well, and to continue to have some of these original stories, these things out there, you got to vote with your wallet, and going out to the theater is a big telltale to these. Anybody that's involved with putting these together and distributing them, if you go out and buy a ticket, that's what gets them to do more of these.
This movie's going to break even soon, and it will make a profit.
Yeah, good.
$38 million budget. It's now sitting at 81 million.
Yeah,
good.
Also, Nadia, I mean, I know that this year.
Go ahead.
Sorry, that's it. I know this month is a big thing for a lot of people, but the whole Jaws 50th anniversary. But the point is, marketing, getting more asses and seats. As I said, told all you guys, the fact that this film came out for me catching a 217 showing, that's just great marketing. And we need to start getting more gimmicks to want people to go see movies. 217, it's a small Easter egg, but like, I've never seen a 217 showing. It's fucking awesome,
me
man.
either.
That's why I said before, I was like, this guy knows. He knows it's movies for people who love movies. He loves movies. And I just, I mean, me, I'm a big fan of Quentin Tarantino. I want to watch a movie made by somebody that loves movies. I don't want to watch a movie that's written by Chat GPT, that's had special effects done 10 million times.
War of the Worlds.
Yeah. Trust me, you don't have to convince me not to watch that, Nadia.
No, watch it. You have to watch it. I'm telling you, everybody should watch this movie.
I can't wait.
Everybody should watch it. I agree with you, Blue. Original storytelling. It is the way to go. If we want more original storytelling and people who love movies, go see it. Go see it.
Well, remember, original does not inherently mean good, people. Shit can be
Does
real.
it? No,
Leon
is right.
It's completely original, but the core, if it's out of tune and the chords aren't in the same key and shit, it's still fucking bad.
Leon's right. But I also think people need to make their mind up for themselves. Don't listen to us. Go experience it for yourself. Go see it for
and
yourself.
support it so you have some more movies like this instead of just the gigantic blockbuster superhero movies. No offense against them, but I love seeing things like this that are
full offense.
Okay. I didn't want to make anybody mad at me, but because I like a lot of them too. But just like get out there, buy a ticket and support it. That's what tells them to
support
bring
your
more of
local
this out.
movie theaters too.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
we want them to stick around. Yeah.
If you don't want to see a movie, buy a ticket and donate it to a child in need.
Let's get out of here. Leon, what do you got going on next?
Daily streams, daily videos. Drop on my channel tomorrow for the Leon's lunch hour at 1 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, and I will be doing a video on fucking something or another. Who's to say?
Okay. Corey never streams. Corey, what are you?
I never stream, but I can't. I was laughing too hard. How can I follow that up? Tomorrow night, I have that horror couple on my channel, and we're going to be hanging out and talking about their love of horror movies, collecting their YouTube journey, just hanging out and getting to know them better. So that's what's in the immediate future.
Ton of technical difficulties, I'm assuming.
Oh, I'm sure there's going to be a camera and microphone that's not going to work at some point in the thing. So,
Katie, what you got going on?
Tomorrow we have WTF Wednesday at 5:30, and then videos every day.
Very cool. Rachel.
Thursday, I will be here for the Institute, and Friday, Stranger Things.
Yep.
And that'd be it.
Confirmed. Sin, I know you're tired. What's going on, Sin? What do you got going on next?
Tomorrow I'm going to be streaming with Soundbooth Theater, the audiobook company I work with. We're going to be talking about 3 movies, Black Death, Slither, and Lady Hawk. And
Lady Hawk.
Yeah, Lady Hawk's been forever since I saw that. And then I'll be on your stream Thursday to talk about the Institute. And then hopefully this weekend I'll be able to get out some reviews for Nobody 2, because I'm going to go see that on Thursday, and Americana. I'm going to see that on Saturday.
Nice.
Cool.
Very cool. Enzo?
I got to drive for 4 hours right now, and then I guess tomorrow's movie is something called Sorceress. It's a dark fantasy 80s movie with a bunch of boobs. Me and Blue Collar watched it with Proctophile.
Yep, and
a while back.
Love it.
It's pretty good. Check out full length commentary for that. And then go to Chicago. Got to try to hop on some streams tomorrow before I do that. And Oh yeah, Sunday. I guess I'm gonna take a psychedelic psilocybin mushrooms before I stream, and we're gonna binge Fairy Tale Theater until our eyeballs fall out until sunrise. So tune in for that after Gucci Gang. That'll be fun.
Oh my God.
Don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs.
Yeah.
They're fine as
Blue?
long as you know the right ones and you know how to handle your drugs. Oh, let's stop this government propaganda of fucking don't do drugs. The majority of them are fucking fine as long as
Leon!
you know
I just got monetized. Oh my
You two might be
you have
monetized.
seen the shit I say on my streams.
I've
and
seen
I
know.
monetize.
horrific things.
We're fine.
Blue.
Oh my game kept off. Tomorrow, me and Enzo are watching Shin Godzilla. Comes out tomorrow in theaters for 4K. I'll talk to you guys about. They're showing one showing tomorrow night. The new Red Sonja is out for one night.
I know.
I'm curious to see it because how shitty. Can
I might
it
go
be?
see it tomorrow night too.
Yes. And
The
that's
answer pretty shitty.
I'm fine with that. And like Sin said, guys, go support Nobody too because I love Nobody. And I know Niat's going to be covering Alien Earth on Friday. He asked me I might come onto that. So I'm just kind of like guessing around a lot, but yeah, that's it.
You should really love
Very cool.
somebody, bud.
I know.
Toxic.
Well, if you, I guess you're up to it, so I guess we'll be doing Stranger Things in the Institute. Boy, it's really going to be hard to go to the Institute after seeing this
After
kid
this.
knock it out of the park with his child acting. But I'm going to suffer
I'll
through it
tell ya.
for my dedication to you. So you're welcome. Tomorrow I will be with Cinematic Autopsy, and I actually don't know if we're going on his channel or mine to do a review of the long-running TV series and book series Bosch by Michael Connolly, starring Titus Welliver. And we're going to talk about his, love for the TV show and its spinoff Bosch Legacy. And I'm going to clap back with my love for the book series, which, I really
Great
enjoy. And
series.
so
Have you seen Ballard?
I have.
Very cool. Well, everybody's link is in the description below. Please go follow everybody, even Leon. Everything is great here. You guys will be rated into Nick the Plot Strikes Back. They are doing a episode 1 and 2 analysis of Alien Earth. So please go give them some love. So stick around in the chat. You'll be rated into there. Thank you for everybody who joined tonight. As for me, back Thursday with the Institute, Friday with Stranger Things. Might play a little Alien Isolation this weekend. We'll see. And then I will discuss Alien Earth next Tuesday on Horror Tuesday. So tune in then. Thank you guys so much for joining me. This was a very lively discussion. It was a lot of fun.
So,
Hey, who
so
wants
Nadia, you're just streaming every day.
If you want echo
Every day.
chambers, go to Open Bar. You know what I mean? Like if you want to have some people clapping back at each other, you can watch Nadia's show.
Shots fired.
Yeah, we're disrespectful to each other. We're not respectful. All right. Anyway, on that note, thank you guys again. Thank you, chat. Thank you, everybody who's super chat. I hope everybody has a great week. See you later. Bye. Stay spooky.